3 wide.
Unbelievable.
Where you playing? We're going. I like the aggression. We probably dropped a great car.
You can go tell all those guys up there they can suck it.
What we're about to do is not a good idea.
All good. What is he doing?
You gotta be kidding me.
Half the pack is flying apart.
They're so nice.
See at the line.
Oh, pack of cars come piling in as well.
Jump. Coming the light.
Hello. Come back on him.
That was incredible. Dude, nobody better. Nobody. Hell yeah, guys.
NWP, it is NASCAR Weekly Podcast Night in America. Happy Wednesday, folks. Thank you for being here. I am your host this week, Eric Eastep, flanked by two of my best buddies in the whole wide world. On this side, Danny B, Daniel Baldwin. Over here to my right, stage left, we've got Jarrett, the Iceberg Lundberg. Good show ahead of y'all tonight. We've got Jeff Favignano flying in here from the far left side or far right side, stage left. I'm all turned around here. Jeff, it's great to have you. We've got a full show ahead. Jeff, it's been a couple of years since you and I last spoke. How are things going? How's everything in your neck of the woods?
Things have been good here, man. I have no complaints.
Yeah, we'll talk a little NASCAR 25 in a bit because I know both you and Jarrett here got to sample the new iRacing NASCAR production. But first, gentlemen, we got to get into Kansas. Kansas gave us plenty to talk about. Chat already has been debating. I saw before we went live, Bubba Wallace, Denny Hamlin, who was in the right, who was on the wrong. Did Denny go too far in racing for the win? Gentlemen, we'll start with that. Overtime, Toyota teammates tangle. Jarrett, your reaction to how Bubba Wallace raced Christopher Bell, and then maybe how Denny Hamlin raced Bubba Wallace. What was your takeaway watching that finish?
Well, the first thing I thought was all that stuff about team orders that, NASCAR talked about last year and how not to do that and people laying over, whatnot. None of that happened. We were all complaining about that after Martinsville, and rightfully so, among other races last year. My takeaway is while they didn't win, the 5 Toyotas racing each other actually for the win really hard, getting into each other. But I wouldn't say dirty by any means. I loved it. I get that there's the whole championship side of it. And I get that people are upset. And I get that it's Denny and it's Bubba and it's Bell. And they're not like the most popular people to root for or any, for a lot of fans. I love the fact that 3 guys who are essentially all teammates raced each other just as hard, if not harder, than they'd race anyone else. That's kind of my get-go on it.
That's what made it so complicated was, they're all kind of teammates, but they also all need to win to lock into the next round of the playoffs. This wasn't like a Ty Gibbs driving through Brandon Jones at Martinsville when he's already locked in and the win would have meant so much more to Brandon. Like, yes, Denny Hamlin would have had a pretty good and still does have a pretty sizable points cushion, but every win, every chance to lock into the next round is so important. Those 5 playoff points we know are so important. And Denny Hamlin at the very end of his career, I think he said it in his podcast this week, like, I only have 70 more attempts roughly to win, to get a championship. I could be an owner for decades to come. Like those championships, could be down the line. Those wins are down the line.
Okay, our buddy Breakhart,
the way everything's going on with the legal system, so
fair. Buddy Breakhart got he put the points in turn 3 versus the points after the race. So points in turn 3 on the final lap. Hamlin plus 34, like that's nice, but I've seen bigger points gaps be blown at the Roval than that.
And he is not a good road course racer.
No, and so plus 34 for him. I think the big thing, and again, I'll steal a little from Breakhart on this one, is that they keep letting the boogeyman back in with Joey Logano.
That's true. If Bubba Wallace wins that race, Logano would be below the cut line right now. Instead, he is holding on to a slim margin. Jeff, you've got the Hendrick Motorsports hat on your head. Were you pulling for Chase Elliott at the end there? What was your POV of that final lap melee?
It's just a hat. But I like all sorts of different drivers and manufacturers. No, I had Carson Hocevar on my left screen in car from HBO Max, and then I had Denny Hamlin on the right-hand side. So I listened to their entire race. I watched most of Carson until it went really south for him there at the end after it got doored by Chastain there. But I was watching Denny Hamlin's in car and listening to their team communication. I'm rooting for Denny this year because I do want him to win a championship. I think he's deserving of winning a championship. I know he's a polarizing driver. A lot of people don't like him, but he's a veteran and he has so much personality in the sport for so long. I didn't like Denny Hamlin back when I was, younger, but now I have a strong appreciation for him as a driver and what he does for the sport. So I was rooting for him. And Bubba, of course, I wanted Bubba to get in there. But the thing is, I don't think Denny did anything wrong. I think, he was driving a car with, power steering issues, but the, pushing up, that's just hard racing. And, we have seen this time and time again where it comes down to the line, especially when you're trying to advance in ahead of the Roval, because that's going to be such a mix-up that you got to go for it. You got to do everything you possibly can. Did he use up Bubba? I mean, yeah, but I think everybody kind of used everybody up there at the end of that race.
That's kind of how I see it. The only rule Hamlin broke, as someone put it this week, is that neither him nor Bubba won the race. They let that third guy, who happened to not be a Toyota, steal the win instead. But nobody should blame Hamlin for going for it. They raced each other really hard. They raced the 20 hard. The 19, I think it was the second to last overtime. Briscoe was like kind of stuck in no man's land, almost made a 3-wide middle move that would have wrecked everybody and then got out of there. So everybody was going for it. Danny, I know your wife is a Chase Elliott fan. So was she celebrating the positive turn of events there?
Yes, it took us both off guard. She was able to actually be watching on the phone while I'm driving. We came back from the Tennessee Mississippi State game, and so we're driving, kind of listening to it, and my thoughts on it is, yes, I'm happy for Chase Elliott fans that this is a round that pretty much all of us, we doubted him this round. We didn't think he was making it out of this one, and he has now.
True.
He got
That's
to
a
win
good
at
point.
Kansas. So none of us was passing him through this round. Now there he goes. He proved us wrong. See, I don't blame Denny for going for it, but at the same time, this man's got to understand he is going to get win number 60. There is no way that I could see this guy not getting it. And at some point, you got to think of your owner's hat a little bit. I mean, like I said, with the legal stuff, you're in the middle of a fight with NASCAR for this team. And now this has resulted in a situation where you didn't get a win, but also your team you're fighting so hard for could have had a driver advance into the next round. So that's my biggest fault on it, is that, yes, I get racing for your win, but it's a different round. Like if it's there, you got to not push the issue too much, I think.
It shows that he's committed to Joe Gibbs Racing. I mean, if anybody had a shadow of a doubt of that, I mean, it was proven right there that he wrecked his own team's car. So
yeah,
I don't know,
Danny. I think you make a very logical point that, yes, in that moment, that win meant more to Bubba Wallace than it would have meant to Denny Hamlin. I think big picture, playoffs, legacy, all that kind of stuff. But I think the hard part is asking a driver who's been sweating his ass off for 3.5 hours, who's been battling power steering issues, who's this close to his own record-setting mark. I think it's unfair to ask them in that moment when they have a nose out front on the last lap to think that big a picture. I think in that moment, like a literal racehorse, Hamlin had blinders on and could see clean track, could basically see the checkered flag, and maybe overdrove it slightly. I think Bubba was down on his door, and so they both kind of lost grip and slid up. It was just circumstantial from that point, but needless to say, it's given us fans plenty to discuss and debate this week. I do want to talk about, and you touched on this, Danny, you're holding us accountable before we even get to the accountability segment. Yeah, a lot of us on the panel here a few weeks ago were doubting Chase Elliott in this round. They hadn't shown consistent speed. Obviously, their one win this year was kind of a super speedway, but Chase Elliott's through. So, I mean, what does this mean big picture for Chase Elliott, for Hendrick? Jarrett, I'll start with you.
I think this next round lines up really well. I mean, he's been good at 1.5 miles, especially Kansas, but 1.5 miles in general, like Chase Elliott can rise up and perform. He's won at Talladega with this car, and he was running for the win last year at Martinsville. Now, do I think that he is like going into this next round, especially when you're assuming that like a Bell, a Hamlin, probably maybe a Briscoe, Byron, Larson, like, is he going to be the favorite? No, but I think it'd be a fool's errand to just kind of write him off as like, well, he's cannon fodder for the round of 8 instead of the round of 12. Like, I think he can make it to Phoenix. And then at that point, all it takes is somebody having a mechanical issue or if it's one of the Penske cars that makes it, or if one of them doesn't, then it's just, one good race. So I don't see a reason to count him out at this point. I think we probably were a little too preemptive in just being like, well, yeah, it just kind of makes sense. Nine's kind of been, not as good this year as some of these others. And now it puts a lot of really good drivers in a bit of a pickle heading into the Roval.
It's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. 'Cause I'm looking at the schedule coming up, and now that Elliott is advancing next round, honestly, I had two Joe Gibbs drivers and 2 Penske drivers making it into my championship 4. And if Logano can somehow get through to Roval in as he currently is, man, I really like Logano at Las Vegas and that fall race. He always seems to know how to do it. He did it last year. I really like him in that one. I like Blaney when it comes to Martinsville, and Talladega could be one where Chase Elliott finds a way to get himself another Talladega win. And then all of a sudden, if that scenario happens, there's only room for 1 JGR driver. So 3 good ones, only 1 gets in that situation. And that worries me, because then that's where you ask the question, did Denny Hamlin screw himself by this race?
Yeah, again, that's that big picture view coming into play. I just asked the chat, will Chase Elliott make the championship 4? It's almost 50-50. So Jeff, I'll put you on the spot. Yes or no? Do you think Chase gets to Phoenix?
I don't think so. And it's because how Hendrick's been performing this last few races. Like they did well at Kansas, but I think they knew they needed to throw something up. But it was very polarizing to see Chase's car versus Williams' car. But even then, they got it figured out towards the end and got in a better position. But yeah, they've really been kind of missing on some of these setups. But I don't know. I don't know if he's going to make it or not. Logano is definitely one to watch because he always sneaks in and grabs it when you least expect it.
Yep. Somehow, some way. We'll talk more about the points here in a few minutes, but I'll end this poll. It looks like our chat leaning positivity here. 57% say yes, Chase Elliott will make the championship 4. All right, chat. Okay. We'll hold you to it. We'll hold you accountable in a few weeks.
It's 4 drivers. So, yeah, it's possible if they get their stuff together.
It's basically 50-50. 4 out of 8 will make it. Either you do or you don't. I think that's how percentages work. I'm not really sure.
It's just going to be so interesting. It depends on who makes it into this round, because, like I said, there are 2 of those 3 races. I feel like there are some drivers that make a lot of sense to just take that, win it, and then it's slim pickings to see who survives Talladega and who's that final car to get in.
Zane Smith, I want to pivot to this for a moment. I was at this race. I had just left the media center, was standing near the start-finish line on pit road. They were coming to take the white, right? They were coming to take, the race was about to be to 100, 200 yards from being over when I was scanning Bubba's radio because he was up front, and caution's out, wreck in the back. And I was like, oh, great, who's another Hocevar lazy spin and didn't get going. And then I looked back there and I could see just barely through the pit boxes, this bright green. I've never been a fan of the Speedy Cash scheme, as my viewers know. This hideous Grinch abomination tumbling down the apron over there. It was surreal. And then seeing the actual replay of him skidding on his side. Herbie's on the fence. That's what it reminded me of, guys. Like, Herbie's on the fence. What was your reaction to that?
Okay, here's my reaction to it. Was they come out and we have a caution, and I'm like, oh, for the love of, oh my God!
I was like, where's the debris?
Like,
oh, that's big debris.
Well, and did y'all see that thing on X that somebody said, like, on this date at Talladega in 2003, the Napa sponsored driver won, the 20 finished 3rd, the 38 flipped in the middle of discussion of changing the points format. And this year, same date, 2025, the Napa sponsored driver wins, the 20 finishes 3rd, the 38 flips, and we're in the middle of a points change conversation. It's just like time is just a closed circle at this point.
And it's also, sorry, you go ahead, Jeff. And
I was saying I had a different reaction to it. When I saw it wall ride and then flip over, I was like, oh man, the next gen's going to get roasted this week because it looks like a Matchbox car. Whenever you see it on the bottom side, you're just like, yeah, man, because the people that really hate this next gen car and the aerodynamics of it, they're going to have a field day with this week. But it hasn't been that bad, I guess.
Another weird coincidence with this particular crash. This is a crash we don't often see in NASCAR. The only other 2 times that I remember something like this happening was Casey Kane at the 2010 Nationwide Series Fall Race at Bristol. I was at that one. And another one, I'm blanking on the year, but it was Martin Truex Jr., I think, in the
05.
Busch Series 08. Oh, sorry, 05 in the 8 car. And every time a 38 car has been involved in some way, a 38 pushed up the 8 at Richmond, the 38 rode the wall at Bristol, and now the 38 rode the wall and flipped at Kansas. It's funny how that number is somehow always involved.
I gotta say, we were due. Kansas, if you look back, has a actually really wild history of insane crashes at different points.
Is this where Anthony Alfredo?
Yeah, didn't
I
Alfredo
think
have
so,
a crazy
yeah.
wreck?
He had
Yeah,
a
in the
crazy one
21.
here. And then wasn't there like a truck series one too that was really crazy? And that's not even talking about like the two simultaneously sliding while going for the win.
Wasn't there like an Austin Terrio crash or something? That's a name I haven't mentioned in a while. Wasn't that at Kansas? Maybe I'm misremembering. Folks are also saying Brad Keselowski in the 88 back in 07 at a auto club. Is that right?
Yeah,
that's
kind of
right,
got
the
up on
Navy
his side.
He actually
Yeah, in the
got
Navy
hurt
car.
fairly good in that one. That was a bad one.
Yeah.
It's a fast track, man. They were cruising.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was surreal. Glad Zane Smith was okay, and the memes and stuff I've seen from it since are amusing, and we can smile about it now that Zane is thankfully fine. I know he's not happy with John Hunter Nemechek though.
I think
That's
it's
something to watch.
Is it Dexter Jacks or something on Instagram? They've already put something up with their like the AI voices of the booth being,
They've already memed this clip.
They already memed it.
Find it and send it to us later.
Yes,
I will. I don't want to put it on here just in case there might be sensitive ears listening.
You hear Larry McReynolds, absolute AI Larry Mac losing his mind.
I will say they got Lee Diffie perfectly in it. Like they've actually got the actual people in the booth. Now it's not just like the Fox booth. And like they actually got Lee Diffie absolutely perfect.
Do you even know what we're talking about, Jeff, or have you seen this trend?
I mean, I'm aware of AI voices and I'm up to date with AI everything, but no, I didn't know somebody was doing that. I mean, it makes sense. Lee Diffie seems like it would be probably the easiest voice of them to do. Jeff Burton would be all over the place. It'd be tough.
Instagram is one heck of an app these days, Jeff.
There was a perfect point, and it perfectly summarizes NASCAR coverage where he goes, "What a horrible crash. Oh, look away. Let's take another look from another angle." I'm like, that is NASCAR coverage, like absolutely perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Will make its rounds on Facebook, and then it will become reality.
True. That is very true. Mention a few other notable finishers real quick. We kind of already talked about Denny Hamlin, but I don't want to gloss over the fact that he led the most laps, won 2 stages, finished second. A very productive day for Denny, even though he didn't win and he did cost his team car a win, but that 11 car, a lot of speed. I want to mention Tyler Reddick, who had a pit road issue early in the race, lost a lot of track position, battled back to score a 7th. Missed opportunity that he didn't get any stage points because that's what he really needs when we look at the playoff picture in a moment. But you can even throw Bubba Wallace in there. Both 2311 cars had a moment in this race where they were out to lunch, nowhere to be seen, and they got things dialed in there towards the end. William Byron, I think Jeff mentioned him as well, came back to finish 9th. I want to give Brad Keselowski a shout out for being the best finishing non-playoff driver for like the 2nd time in the last 3 or 4 weeks. And I want to give a shout out to Shane Van Gisbergen, top 10 on an oval, a week after he had top 10 speed at New Hampshire. This is 2 weeks in a row where SVG has legitimately looked like a top 10 car on a traditional intermediate or oval type track. Like, I mean, he's going to win the Roval this weekend, almost guaranteed, but maybe ovals suddenly aren't so daunting for SVG. I don't know if y'all had any reaction to that or anybody else you wanted to shout out.
Well, I brought up a point that about SVG with in my video this past Monday. And what I had said is if he gets just 6 top 10s that are outside of a road course, doesn't matter if it's super speedway, intermediate, short track, wherever, just 6 top 10s, that's a difference from where he finished this year. That's roughly about 15 spots up, 15 points. That adds up to about an extra 90 points he could gain just from 6 races being run well, which would have vaulted him at the end of the regular season from, I think, 25th to 14th, I want to say. So it's a very respectable regular season, or first 26. And so it's like, I feel like if he can get a hold of these and just get 6 to 10 top 10s outside of road courses, like his higher end is probably like a higher end Montoya Ambrose kind of season. Like, I don't think he's ever going to be a championship contender, when it comes to like actually winning it. But I mean, there could be a day that he's running top 10 in points because outside of winning 4 or 5 road courses a year, he's also running well at half the other races too.
Yeah, when you put it like that, it seems attainable that this could be a legit top 10, top 15 guy in the Cup Series before long. I'm impressed. He's 35 years old, roughly. He's not old, but he's also not young. So to try and learn new habits this late in his career and to do it seemingly as quickly and effectively as he has, very impressive. Certainly a world-class driver. If he ever needs that OEP, I don't think NASCAR would have an issue assigning it to him. Something that came out today, and Jeff, maybe you have some insight on this because you said you were watching his onboard camera late in this race, but Carson Hocevar had a good run going, spun out late, and then according to NASCAR officials today, he revved his tires or revved his engine when track security or track workers were trying to hook his car up to the tow truck. And so he got hit with a $50,000 behavioral penalty, a pretty hefty fine for Hocevar. And I went back and watched some of the onboard and tried to find other angles. It's hard to tell exactly where or what he did wrong, but obviously NASCAR had an eagle eye out. Jeff, your reaction to that penalty for Carson?
Yeah, I was watching the onboard. It was because they started to push him, and he was getting pushed back to the thing, and then they just stopped pushing him, and then they went around to the front and started hooking up, and he revved it like once, I think. He was just pissed, and I get it. But, I mean, it wasn't like detrimental to the situation. I don't know why they would get a fine for it. It was just, other than I think they just want to set an example out of them. You know, hey, these guys are here to do their job, and you're kind of making it hard on them if you're revving the engine and acting like an idiot. So, I mean, I get the penalty, but it seemed a little excessive.
Yeah, that's how I felt. I likened it to a makeup call in other sports because he's done some things in his truck series career. Like we've talked about the right rear hook on Colby Howard a few years back that never got called for some reason. He's pushed the issue a few times in the past and gotten away with it. This felt like NASCAR kind of like, now going out of their way, searching for something to call to try and get even, which I don't really like that philosophy. But yeah, also, I don't know. Carson Hocevar definitely does have to keep his emotions in check, which he's had a hard time doing at times.
What I saw of it, I don't necessarily believe that he was trying to do anything, but because NASCAR did deem it to be this in front of track officials and NASCAR workers, the precedent matches the penalty, because I had to look up and remind myself what happened to Joey Logano after Richmond last year when he started revving up next to Austin Dillon's team and family. He was fined $50,000. So that's the precedent we have. So the penalty NASCAR did levy to him does match the precedent that we have in place. So
Carson was calm on the radio during that whole thing.
Yeah,
it was just like, these guys are kind of, I don't know what they're doing. It wasn't like Joey's meltdown at Pocono.
Yeah, where was that? Was it Pocono or was it Richmond? Or where?
It was Richmond after the Austin Dillon stuff. But I don't think those two are anywhere close to the same level as each other. But because it was around NASCAR officials, that's why they penalize them this much.
Yeah. I thought the Logano thing was probably worse. Yeah,
I did
way worse.
Somebody shared like a clip of it too on Reddit where like they were hooking his car up, and I think he revved it up to like 2,500 RPM. So like I was thinking maybe that was it because there were actual officials around him
standing around. Yeah,
but it's like they didn't specify when it actually happened, and I think that's what's kind of causing all the confusion here.
Jeff,
I haven't listened to.
Sorry, Jeff, you're right, by the way. We're thinking of the Richmond thing. You're talking about Pocono 2023, and that actually was his meltdown, because that's when he was like, hook it up to the thing.
That's right.
He was screaming in the car, and that's a different thing. Like you're clearly upset at the officials, where Carson was like very calm with the team and just telling them like what was going on with it. But yeah, I mean, like I heard the engine rev there, which seemed weird. I thought he was just trying to see if it would move after they stopped pushing him. But if this happened behind the wall, that's possible too. That seems to be, if the car was already hooked up and he was revving it, I could see why they would be like, don't do that. But I don't know. It's wild.
This is one, not to call out our competition, but I'll give them a shout out. The Hauler Talk podcast. I hope Mike and Amanda and them like address it if they haven't already. Maybe they post an episode this afternoon and I haven't listened to it yet, but hopefully they go into more details to what he actually did. Because just for future knowledge and reference, I'd say. Wanted to talk about I'll let Jarrett take the lead on this because I don't know. He wrote in our notes, NBC coverage has been noticeably worse this year. And I don't know that I agree with that statement, so I don't want to like read it as if it's my my own.
Well,
word.
it's not
Jared, take the
much
lead on this one.
coverage as like the cover. I think the coverage has maybe taken a step back, but it's also the advertising. Like the entire package has been noticeably off this year. During Sunday Night Football, I was watching and I had to do a double take. I was like, there is no way. Am I just this tired? And I looked up and I rewound it. And they were advertising the NASCAR playoff race this Sunday at 2 p.m. at New Hampshire.
Oh,
on
but
NBC.
after the New Hampshire race was over.
It was last Sunday. This past Sunday, after the Kansas race during Sunday Night Football, Cowboys Packers. I was like, am I just that freaking? I'm like, I had one beer. I'm not drunk. Like I know, like what the hell? And I like sort of rewound it again, and I was like, no, they advertised the wrong freaking race on NBC. I think they've been there's been a little bit of a step back this year. Like I usually give NBC like a B+ or so, and I'd kind of move it back to like a B minus. Like it's still, I think, pretty good generally, but I've noticed they've started missing a few more angles. You can tell there may not be as much production at the track as in recent years. Like, I don't think it's like Fox bad. Like I saw people in my chat saying like, man, they're like a step away from being Fox. No, they're not. Like they're not even a step away from being TNT at this rate. Like they're still pretty good. We're a little spoiled by Prime, and I would say honestly a lot of weak CW, but there has not really been any advertisement I've seen on outside of NASCAR broadcasts for NASCAR races on NBC owned races.
That part I'll agree with that because I've watched a lot of football this year. Sunday night, I didn't see that clip, but I've watched a lot of Sunday Night Football. I think they even did a Thursday night game at the start of the year, and I've seen no NASCAR ads from the NBC family of networks as opposed to previous years. So I'm with you on the advertising. The broadcasts themselves, granted, I didn't watch a ton of the broadcasts from this past week because I was there, but I saw a decent amount of it, and I went back and rewatched the finish. And I know it's just the finish. The finish doesn't make for a great race, doesn't make for a great broadcast. But Lee Diffie, when he takes over and gets into it, is everything I want out of a racing play-by-play commentator. And so I don't know. I haven't noticed a big step back in their quality, but maybe you're onto something if you might have been watching more closely this week.
I don't get the ripping on Diffie that so many people do. Like he nails it every time he has a situation in front of him.
Yeah. Some people just can't quite get past the accent for whatever reason. Not like this sport.
I'm guilty of that. Like I told Jarrett that I was like, when he first came on the scene, I was just like, it doesn't feel like NASCAR to me when I hear that. And
That's
also
fair.
I loved Rick Allen. I know a lot of people didn't like Rick Allen, but I loved him. And I'm like, man, he really kind of deserves that spot in my opinion, but I get why they did it. And now I grow into like it more and more because I like his knowledge and what he brings to the table. But yeah, it feels weird. One time I had it on the background and I didn't even think about it. And I thought, that was some overseas racing going on. I didn't even think it was a NASCAR.
No, that's fair. I will say this, and people pointed this out in my replies. He pronounces Bubba Wallace.
Yeah, Bubba Wallace.
And that's just the accent. That's just whatever. Like, but it's those I do pick up on, and it's hard to get past. I'll give them that. My mom used to always make fun of Larry McReynolds' accent. She'd walk through the living room when classic Fox heyday, and DW and Larry Mack would be screaming at the mic, he turned him, and she would just always, I don't know, my mom, very Southern woman, but she thought they were Hicks. She was like, I thought I was a Hick. These guys are Hicks. But
I love Benny Parsons would just fall over every sentence he was on. He would be thinking like 3 words ahead of what he was saying, and that was just peak NASCAR. That was great.
My no one will
get mad at anyone for their accent because I've got an accent. I've had people make fun of my accent, and I'm not about to start doing that to anybody else.
No one who has started watching NASCAR after 2006 will ever understand the fear of Benny going, "Oh, trouble!" and then you're like, "Oh God, who is it?" Just like Dale Jr. "Oh, I got a car on the wall!" Like those two are just like parallels perfectly.
And he'd say championship instead of championship, and they would say aerodynamics instead of aerodynamics. Those are almost guaranteed.
God,
That's
I miss
good stuff.
GP so much.
Mm-hmm. Well, before we move on to a few key numbers that we like to review, let's look at the point standings. Jarrett, do you have a playoff grid graphic for us? He sure does. Jarrett's always well prepared.
You know he would.
For our listening audience, I'll run through this real quick. Blaney and Elliott, we know, have advanced to the round of 12. I'm sorry, the round of 8. Larson is plus 54. He basically needs to start the car on Sunday. He's good to go. Denny Hamlin is plus 48. Bell plus 44. Byron plus 40. Then it gets interesting. Chase Briscoe is only 21 points to the good. Joey Logano plus 13. Chastain, first guy out, minus 13. Then Bubba Wallace minus 26. Reddick minus 29. And Austin Cindric minus 48. Austin Cindric, good road racer in his Xfinity days. Going to need to win. Wallace, Reddick, maybe in a similar boat. Gentlemen, I will ask the same question we ask each other every week. Are you willing to predict anyone drops out and somebody else replaces them? Or let me put it this way. Jarrett, who is most likely, not saying you're picking this to happen, but who is most likely to get into the top 8 that's not currently in there?
Chastain, I would say. I mean, I know Bubba's good at the Roval, and he's been getting a lot better at road courses, same with Reddick, but I just think that points gap with the competition they're against is a lot. I don't dare go against Joey Logano. Like I said, I misspoke earlier and said he was the boogeyman. No, he's not the boogeyman. If you've watched John Wick, he's the Baba Yaga. He's the one who you send to hunt the boogeyman in the playoffs because he's the one who's going to end up taking. He got eliminated last year and he still advanced. Like I'm not betting against him.
You can't kill him.
As an Alex Bowman fan, my biggest regret is not just betting like $100 on Logano to win the second that Bowman got out, because that would have hit like crazy.
Jeff, what about you? Do you think, are you looking at Chastain pointing his way in? Because I look at Reddick.
Yeah, Tyler Reddick, 100%. Out of those four in the back there, Tyler Reddick is going to have a strong finish at the Roval. He will.
He has an average finished 8.3 the last 3 Roval races.
Yeah, and that's kind of what he needs. He just needs a top 10 or to win. But I mean, I don't know. But I think that he's going to perform really well at the Roval.
The interesting thing here, we're looking at, if you haven't looked into it, driveraverages.com, I'm starting to like this one better than Racing Reference these days. But Joey Logano, and so Reddick has a better average finish, 8.3. Joey Logano has an average finish of 10.3 at the Roval. This is what's in their last 3 races. The thing is, Logano has 1 top 5, 2 top 10s. Reddick just has 2 top 10s. Just there's more consistency along Reddick's line. So it's going to be close between those two, I feel.
So remember last year in this race, Tyler Reddick was essentially in Joey Logano's exact position. I think he was plus 14 coming into this race last year, and he earned, I want to say 10 stage points. So did pretty well in the stages, opted for stage points over track position. And then remember, there was that wacky incident into that new hairpin turn where he like door slammed Denny or someone, like car lifted off the ground. He fell way back, grinded his way to like an 11th or 12th place finish and barely snuck through. But that kind of gives you an idea of what Joey Logano needs to do. He needs to earn at least probably 8 or 10 stage points and then try to get a top 10 finish. If he does that and we don't get an upset winner, he should be good. But that's easier said than done. Joey's pretty good at the road courses, yes. Or I'm sorry, he's pretty good at the Roval, yes. His road course numbers this year broadly aren't that special. So I just asked the chat, who is most likely of those 4 guys currently below to make it through? It's pretty close, but Ross Chastain, obviously the least points to make up. He's got 46% of the vote. Then Tyler Reddick has 34% of the vote. Some folks think he could steal. If something happens to SVG, Reddick could be the next man up. So that's why I'd give him some consideration.
I find all this very interesting. Logano, the last guy in, has a really good average finish. Reddick, fairly far back. He has a slightly better average finish. Ross Chastain, the guy with the fewest points to make up, average finish of 25.
Yeah, he's not great. His Roval numbers, I think it's his worst road course on the schedule if you just look at the baseline stats. So, those were some numbers. We have some other numbers to talk about. We cover every week. The TV ratings for the NASCAR Cup Series race on USA Network were not great. 1.49 million average viewers for the Cup Series race at Kansas. That's down roughly 17% from a year ago. I think the week before it was down 30%. So, okay, progress. We're going the losses are getting less. Jeff, we've talked about this at great length the last couple of weeks. I'd be curious to know if you have any thoughts or if you've paid much attention to the discourse around kind of the state of the sport. How can NASCAR reach new viewers? The current TV contract, a lot of cable races. Like, have you given that much thought or anything that you'd be willing to share?
Yeah, I think a lot of the decline that we're seeing is just a product of that's technology. That's how everything's moving. Like, nobody wants cable anymore. Nobody watches TV. It's the ones that, are saying that the good old days of NASCAR were the 2000s, and they don't really, those are the ones that are like maybe clamoring to the TV still once in a while. But I mean, I don't, I have Hulu live for watching the races on, but if NASCAR had their own platform, I would 100% go to it. But I think it's just TV in general is just a dying thing. Nobody wants to sit there and watch all those ads and all that. And if you go to like the local Buffalo Wild Wings on a Sunday, not a single TV in there has a NASCAR race on. You have to specifically ask for it. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that is a big part of it. Yeah. The product could be better. Yeah. There's, debate around the format, the car. There are things, NASCAR, we'll talk later, is planning some new, back to our roots campaign. Hell yeah. For next year. Like maybe some of that marketing will help bring some of that core audience back. There's a number of factors, but I do think signing a TV deal, and I know Jared agrees with me on this, signing a TV deal that's so cable heavy in the big 2025, maybe a losing proposition there.
Streaming services are where everything else is. Why is anyone going to go to cable? Like, that's the reason why you've seen the decline, in my opinion.
I think it's one of the biggest factors.
Years.
Yeah.
6 more years of this crap. And if it follows the trend of the 2015 to 2024 deal, as well as the 2007 to 2014 deal, the first year is always the most watched. Even when it declines year over year, it is the most watched.
Hopefully the Amazon ratings go up year to year.
Yeah. I hope we break trends. And to be fair, in the last deal, we did end up getting more OTA races as the deal went on. They'd add a Fox race or two, an NBC race or two. Who knows? Maybe FS1 and USA will literally just go kaput and be out and just like
no choice but to put them on Fox and NBC. Maybe.
Yeah.
The moment that they started doing all the in-cars on and their audio on HBO Max, like that's pretty much what I watch the races through. Like since the playoffs started, I just watch what the teams are doing, and then I have Hulu on in no sound on it usually, and just listen to what's going on. But if they would give us a track battle cam or a track cam with just the audio of the race, you could watch that and then have that, and then that's the ultimate way to watch NASCAR if you really, really care about the sport.
Yeah, no, I agree there. I used to love
back in the day.
Yeah, they used to have Race View, which was like basically SMT, and I was a diehard Kenseth fan, so that became my second screen, became my first screen. That's what I was watching more than I was the broadcast itself.
Did Race View evolve from the old like Race Buddy that TNT used to have back in the day too?
I feel like it, doesn't it?
There's something called like Track Pass. I feel like way back in the 2000s.
Because I remember because actually you can buy them. There were the old Nextel Sprint, like the yellow little remote things you'd buy at the track. That would have like the similar stuff on it too. And it was like so far ahead of its time. I remember being at the track in 2007, watching the onboard of Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the Bud car. That's how long ago this was. And then like getting all of the different data, points updated by like the scoring loop. If we can get that in 2007 and a crappy little like Wi-Fi setup thing inside the track, like why do we have to pay so much, to get not as much as we would get 20 years ago. Yeah.
Well, we have other numbers. This is the numbers heavy portion of the show, Jeff. I hope we're not like, I tune this out when I'm not hosting. I tune this part out. I'll be completely honest, but this week we're locked in.
I don't blame you.
The poll. I don't tune this part out. This is the famous iceberg poll, and I live for the gutter comments every single week. But Jarrett puts up his poll immediately after each race was the Hollywood Casino 400 a good race? And 73% of our viewers said, yes, it was a great race. 21% said, yeah, it was a good race. It was good. 94% of the votes were positive. Only 4% voted average. 2% said negative. Those were probably the Toyota fans that just couldn't get past the heartbreak there in turn 4. But that's got to be one of the most positively voted races this year, Jarrett. Where you got any stats for us on
numbers.
that?
I got fun numbers now. So that was the second of 14 polled Kansas races, only behind last spring.
Sure.
Duh. It was the also second highest of 58 1.5 mile races polled all time.
So Kansas has the top 2 spots there then.
Yep. And it has the top 2 spots all time. This was the second highest voted race ever.
Wow. In the famous Iceberg
And
polls
only-
history.
And let's see, I can do quick math here. 36 times 6. And then plus I think I had 20, I want to say 28 in 1 year. So this is only the 23rd race to be above 90% positive ever.
Wow.
Out of the
We are
doing
witnessing
quick math. I think it's, if I'm doing my math right, it'd be 244 races polled, I think. So
that's incredible.
Pretty good clip, and that's pretty damn high. And both of the top 2 are next gen.
I imagine the comments are pretty positive then. That's my vote this week. Positive.
Well, so yeah, Vermonter is the first comment. So yeah, is it positive, negative, meme, or a mix of both? I'll ask you 3.
Positivity. I think everyone's feeling good.
We'll go a mix.
Thought it was great.
Mix of both, specifically the flip.
Vermonter was first comment, says nothing like seeing Hamlin dominate only for it to fall. Screw Bubba.
Oh, that's negative.
That was kind of negative there. That was a tonal shift.
Like right at the end there, it's just like one little jab.
Yeah, that should be first and gutter.
Well, Masat 2008 said first Denny Rex teammate. Now he puts his own car on the wall and doesn't even win after doing so. V10 Addict says Herbie's on the fence.
Oh shoot, I stole that earlier. Now I feel unoriginal.
Matt says, what a drive for Elliott. 4 tires didn't work in the spring of 2024. It does finally work in the fall of 2025. So are we still on the Fire Allen train, Chase fans?
I'll poll them. I'll poll the chat. Granted, we don't have only Chase Elliott fans here, but I'm going to see what they say.
I mean, if they really don't want him, I'd love to see what he does with Alex Bowman for 1 year.
Mitch says Denny Hamlin does not stand with 2311. And Pepsi Racing says Chase is Bugs Bunny, Bubba is Wile E. Coyote. SKRE Inc. had the gutter comment saying rigged Hendrick win.
The fix is in. Yeah, NASCAR said, hey, Denny, we'll pay all your legal fees if you throw this race.
Yeah, we'll drop the lawsuits.
Consider all forgiven. But that was the poll. I'm curious to see. Damn, we still have a third on the Fire Allen Gustafson train.
Yeah,
I think the race was really, really good. And one thing I've been doing before each of these races each weekend, I watch one of the classic races because it's like, how bad was it? What's the real deal here? Was it as great as it used to be? Is it really bad now? And watching the older Kansas races and watching this one recently, it performed very, very well. I thought the next gen car did great at Kansas, and I did not expect that. I thought it was going to be a boring race. I just put on, but I was like glued to the entire thing.
Yeah, the spring race wasn't super eventful. Larson kind of dominated. So yeah, there's a lot of questions about like maybe Kansas had a couple good next gen races. Now it's maybe Pat, but no, still here.
But how did they miss? How did Larson miss so hard? They were up there, they were battling, but I mean, I was expecting to be a dominant car that whole time to advance him.
They did have a slightly different right side tire than they had in the spring. So that could have been enough of a variable. But yeah, no, I mean, I agree. I was going to say that to your point, Jarrett, yes, 31% of our chat, granted, not all Chase Elliott fans, still say they should fire Alan Gustafson.
See, all the positive Kansas talk, and all I'm thinking of as a biased Chicagoland fan here is like, we get a 12-year older surface version of Kansas Speedway next summer.
I mean, yeah, I think Chicagoland, get your tickets now. Might be a good show.
That's a TNT race, right?
I have no idea. That's
I think it is. So, Larry Mack, bring your cheese grater.
Well,
I need it. I need it.
Someone has, I wonder if Larry Mack's ever signed a cheese grater before, but if I was like a fan and I knew Larry Mack was making an appearance, I would bring a Sharpie and a cheese grater and say, sir, please, would you?
You gave me a great idea.
Someone needs to do that if they haven't already.
You guys hit him up on Cameo. You need to hit him up on Cameo so you can just use him in your intro.
Oh, good call. Honestly.
I
That voice.
have an idea.
You know, that's for content. You can technically write that off.
Yeah.
Before we get to our first super chat stage break, we need to touch on the Xfinity Series race as well. Brandon Jones, damn it, Jarrett, you called it a week ago. Good call on this one. Wins his third career Kansas Speedway Xfinity race. It's his second win of the season. He locks into the round of 8 on the Xfinity side. But on the flip side of that, Connor Zilic came home second, but broke Sam Ard's 40-year record for most consecutive top 5 finishes. I'm sorry. Yeah. 16 straight top 5s now for Connor Zilic. Goodness gracious,
man.
I mean, crazy. I mean, that's
he's not performing
what
anymore,
can we say?
Man. Like he's
not
winning.
Okay, let's be serious.
What is wrong with Connor Zilic
washed
right now? Is he even cup ready at this point? Like, should we just demote him down to ARCA?
Jared, are you ready to pick Brandon Jones to win the championship?
I mean, I honestly might. I think he's a great value pick.
He is good at Phoenix.
He's good at Phoenix. He's good at Martinsville. He's ran up front at Martinsville before. Like, I could see him up front at a.
I saw him beat Kyle Busch. I saw him beat Kyle Busch in equal equipment at Phoenix in 2020. So
I've seen him win I think I've seen him win multiple times before in person. Like anyway, it's just he's never going to set the world on fire, but he is, as long as he's at Gibbs, he's always going to be out front. Like, you don't, of all the Gibbs talk this year in this series, you don't have to question if Brandon Jones should be in that ride. He has been the best performing full-time Gibbs guy.
One could just say sometimes he's just got to get hard for Menards.
Damn it, Danny. Jeff, what have you made of Connor Zilic this year? What he's been able to do? How many wins does he have, Jarrett? Is he at 9 or 10 now?
I stopped counting.
It's a lot. But Jeff,
if he doesn't win the championship, then yep, everybody's right about the playoffs. Like, he's the most deserving driver this year to win.
Corey Heim.
Make Winston great again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Corey Heim that's so crazy because we're getting Corey Heim in the Truck Series and Connor Zilic doing the exact same thing. It's pretty crazy to see the domination.
Yeah. No, it's incredible, especially for how young he is. I was filming some stuff this weekend with Ryan Ellis, who finished, I think, 26th. But I was at like the big Xfinity driver autograph session, and I kind of caught a glimpse of somebody asked Connor, like, hey, how's the collarbone injury healing up? And he like kind of flashed his shirt, and I caught a glimpse, gnarly like scar. We're going right across here on Connor Zilic's, collarbone area. So, I mean, shoot, that's still, I can't imagine that feels 100% racing every day, strapped in or every week strapped in like that. He's
under G-force load, pushing on it.
Exactly. No, incredible what he's been able to do. Jarrett, I want to mention also Allgaier did win the first 2 stages. He's also been very good this year, but they tried an alternate strategy at the end. If they'd gotten a caution with like 20 laps to go, they might have won that race, but it didn't come.
I like the call. Do something different.
Roll the dice.
Yeah.
Jarrett, do you have the points? Yes, here we go. They let's see, where are we at? How many races they have left? Is the Roval a cutoff race for them?
This is it. They're buddied up with Cup the rest of the way.
Okay, so they are going into an elimination race for our listening audience. It's tight. Taylor Gray is plus 16, Creed plus 12, Quapple plus 9, Jesse Love plus 5, Nick Sanchez minus 5, Austin Hill minus 7, Harrison Burton. Man, he had such a good Bristol race. Hate to see him lose all these points. He's minus 8. And then Sammy Smith actually made up some ground. He's minus 14. Man, that's tight. I don't even know where to go with that.
I tell you what, going into the Roval with this lineup here, I'm shocked Gray is as high as he is, but man, I don't like Gray at the Roval. I could see him. I could see him losing it here. I really love Austin Hill at the Roval. He's had good finishes here the last few years. I wouldn't be shocked if Gray gets eliminated and Hill gets in.
I wouldn't be surprised if Gray makes it. I've been pretty high on Gray this year.
You have been.
I think of the 3 hosts, I've been the highest on him this year. Of like, I think
he's your guy.
He's gonna get a breakout win at some point. I'm never confident enough about him to pick him somewhere, but I am confident enough about him that he's going to run top 10 and top 5. Just because of who he is and his luck. I don't know Creed. Like,
absolutely.
I
want Austin Hill to get in just so Creed can door him in the finale.
I know there's some people like Jake Bynum says Hill is getting eliminated, Danny, but that's 7 points. And Austin Hill, I definitely know he got a top 5 here a year ago. I really like Austin Hill going into this race.
He's just got to move a few people. That's it.
There's plenty of opportunities to move guys at the Roval.
Wow. I'm sorry. This poll, Eric, because I always put in a vote to see. This is such a biased poll. I'm sorry.
Wow, you're right.
Okay.
I'll end it. I'll just end it now. We've already got over 70 votes.
I voted both personally.
I can see both making it. Yeah.
I asked the chat which RCR drivers will advance. Again, one is above, one is below. 53% of votes said Jesse Love will advance. Okay, fair enough. He's above the cut line. 23% said neither will advance. Pessimists. 15% said both. I think that's very realistic. Only 9% of people picked Austin Hill. To be fair, I feel like Austin Hill is both the Hill vote and the both. So that still means only 24% of people think Austin Hill is going to make it through this round. I do think that's low considering how good he is at the road.
Who was the guy that SVG had to gloat over after winning a few races at road courses in this series? It was Austin Hill. Like, he very well could miss it, but to pretend that he is like just some afterthought, not a contender. And like you said, Danny, looking at this, 7 points out, guys, come on. Like, I get, that you don't like him.
He finished 4th here last year.
Yeah. He's pretty damn good at, he could totally get taken out on a restart, probably of his own making, let's be honest. But I think he should be a favorite to make it through, honestly.
I would agree. 24% is low. That is fair to say. Well, gentlemen, we have made it to our first Super Chat stage break. Going to go for a few minutes here. We really appreciate all of you tuning in and hanging out with us tonight, and we especially appreciate those of you who've chosen to support the show. We'll start off with back-to-back Super Chats from Jeffrey King. Says, I was wondering, have you seen the playoff points deficit Elliott and Briscoe have? 15 or more behind top 4 when round of 8 starts. Elliott would need a win. Do you guys think 15 points is too much to make up in 3 races? I don't know. I still think
Talladega.
Yeah, Talladega is the big equalizer in there. It is a deficit. That is fair. Jeffrey King also said, Bowman running out of excuses. All his teammates have multiple wins. I like Bowman, but it's getting harder and harder for him to win. Maybe give him 2026 as his final tryout year, I guess.
I mean, that is his final tryout year. That's when his contract ends. So
I guess that's true. I guess Hendrick and Jeffrey here are on the same wavelength, essentially. Herbert. Okay, we got a few goofy meme ones here I'll blow through because I cannot entertain Herbert the prevert much longer here. Says, dang it, Denny, hashtag dirty Denny, hashtag I stand with 2311. Mrs. Jar Jar Bink says, Yusa, Misa, something DH, you're a punk. Hashtag Misa 2311. Oh, that was good. Oh, that was well done. We blow it every week. Well, we don't even try.
That was like Jar Jar plus your Big Mama Juju character at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
Cookie Monster says, you get no cookie, Denny, you punk. I love the idea of Cookie Monster calling someone a punk. Joshua Boston sent 2 super chats. I actually met Joshua at the track this weekend. Says, I find it disappointing the ratings dropped 17% for Kansas. It was a great race, and I had a splendid experience there, including meeting you, Eric. Yes, that's right. He had a big sign that said I think he said it was his first race ever. It also hurts that the naysayers want to ruin my weekend there posthumously. How do you say that word? I wouldn't worry too much about the ratings. If you enjoyed the in-person experience, that's what's most important. Then he says, but try as they might, they won't derail the high of my one-way dream of experiencing NASCAR in person for the very first time. I'm going to leave that a little heart because I'm glad Joshua had such a good time. I stand with 2311 sent a super chat as well. Of course, as always, chat stands with 2311. They also said DH is a punk, but we still need playoffs. Now they're saying hashtag keep the playoffs. So man, I stand with 2311 is going through a wave of emotions here. From the Sloth Nerd says, in all seriousness, I love your content, Eric, and hopefully no hard feelings for mocking the Astros. Yeah, he wasn't going after my Astros last week. It's okay. We can take it. How are the MLB playoffs going? How do the Cubs do in their first game, Jared? They're in the wild card series, right?
Won the first one yesterday, lost today. So,
ooh, sudden death.
Yep. It is what
Isn't
it is.
baseball great? 162 games, and it comes down to a 3-game series.
Hey,
And
I
we
got
thought the
to attend-
NASCAR playoffs were bad.
I got to attend a game 163 a few years ago with the Cubs and Brewers, so I thought that was pretty cool.
Okay, that is fun. I think baseball is better with a little urgency. I can agree with that. Santa Claus. DH is banned from, I don't know what this means, so I'm not going to say it, but it says hashtag Santa stands with 2311. All right, we've made it through the memes, I think. Nobody knows says, Jeff, what is your favorite ATS map DLC?
Missouri.
ATS is.
American Truck Simulator.
Oh, okay. You just like
Missouri.
driving through your home state? Is it
Have
like
you got
familiar,
the-
I guess?
Is it what? Familiar?
Is it familiar?
It's
Yeah.
just completely compressed. It's so strange to see it. But
Have you got the Montana
Missouri.
one? Because I've been thinking about getting that one.
I have all of them. Yes,
Okay. I love my time in Montana last year, so I've been thinking about getting that one.
it's a good one.
I'll do just a couple more here. Andrew Waring says, what are the chances the TV ratings have been affected by Dale Jr. not being in the booth? I've thought about that. I can't imagine.
Not in the booth last year?
Correct.
I guess that's true.
He
I wonder
took
if
a sabbatical.
I legit wonder if, like, as great as we all think Lee Diffie is, like, there might be some people who are just like, not for me. I mean, I'm sorry. There are a lot of NASCAR fans that are very stubborn, very particular.
Set in their ways.
Yeah, I don't know. Jar Jar Binks sent a few, says, you owe Bubba Wallace an apology. DH says, DH, you're a doo-doo head. We'll wrap up with this one. From Beasts of Metal 1989. Schedule changes, championship changes, car changes. None of it matters. He writes in all quotes. Unless the team model changes. Shred the Ponzi charters, he screams into his keyboard. Send Kaufman to the prison bunk above someone I've never heard of. So, Beast of Metal. That was a pretty metal super chat, I gotta say. Living up to your name right
Maybe
there.
we'll
Trying to throw
scroll
people
up
in
and see.
jail. Yeah.
Am I able to scroll up and see this? Maybe like I might know.
The teams
Sure.
like
I'm
the
looking for
charters,
it.
though. So, like, what would shredding the charters accomplish from a model perspective? Because the teams all want the charters. That's my only question there. I'm not saying things don't need to change. That's my only concern. But anyway, that was our first super chat stage break. What a doozy that one was. And we're not even halfway through the night. Or I guess we are roughly halfway through the night, which means it's time for the NASCAR Weekly Podcast lightning round. Jarrett, go for it. What do we got tonight?
Well, so we actually have a new thing put in from StreamYard here. So for those probably watching on a TV more than anything or a computer screen, we pop a QR code up for the NWP Clips channel now.
Whoa, they put a QR code above Jeff's face.
Yeah, it's
I
right on his
didn't
right on his
cover it.
hat.
I didn't cover him though, but we will re-upload all of these the day after, and who knows, maybe at some point we'll simulcast. We'll see. NBC may leave YouTube TV if a deal isn't reached. They have an extension that was put on yesterday to it, though I did see they took away like all of their Spanish speaking channels, so like
No bueno.
no bueno. Dusan Hamilton is out as race director of NASCAR. They said it was not performance related, though Twitter said it was. They're always right.
Twitter's always a critic.
And speaking of Twitter, I mean, they were saying this, but Richard Childress apparently not planning to retire after this year. A person who was friends with a person at RCR who got tickets to Dover apparently said he overheard it happening. Shocker that source was not right.
Well, I find it crazy was that right there was enough to get the official RCR channel to respond and say, hey, there's no truth to these rumors. It'd be like Joe Schmo 69420 saying, I think so-and-so is leaving. And, you know, Joe Gibbs Racing replying to them saying, no, they're not. No, I thought I was surprised they even acknowledged the rumors, I guess is all I'm trying to say.
It's the equivalent of like a meme account being like, Justin Jefferson is going to be signing with the Kansas City Chiefs. And then they have to put out things like, we are not releasing Justin Jefferson.
But
yes.
Then likewise, you had someone at NASCAR saying there is no initiative, and then we see a picture of the initiative name that we had all just seen the day before.
There is no hell yeah in Bossing say. Chevrolet also has confirmed they'll have a new body for 2026 in the Cup Series. And next week, we'll be on my channel, October 8th, with Michael Mertz coming on, and maybe he can avenge his loss and random driver against Danny.
Not if I allow him.
Love it. Can't wait.
But
that will be fun. Well, that was the NWP lightning round. Jarrett, keep your trigger finger ready because we've got headlines on deck. Boom. I love these graphics. Shout out to a Jet MDK. I know Denny Hamlin called him out on Twitter this week, but we still love Jet. Awesome dude for sure. We've got Jeff Faviano here. Jeff and Jarrett both got to play the NASCAR 25, what should we call it? Demo work in progress a few weeks back.
It was
both posted videos. Yeah. You take it away. You know more about this than I do. What's your POV of what you've seen and played so far?
Yeah, we were on a dev build, and we were briefed before we even went into the room that the AI was not finalized. They were like, don't even do the races because it's not even finished. So, or it's not that it's not finished. It's that the version that was in there was not the one that they're currently at because they were changing and tweaking the lines because they weren't happy with whatever, and they're still, finalizing it. So they told us all that going into there. So when I walked in there, I already knew that we weren't, if we did races, it was kind of at our own, accord, and it was not going to be something that was recorded during that session. That's what they told us. So I was fine with that, but I said, I'm going in and I'm racing. I don't care if I bring no footage home. That's what I'm going in and doing. So I had a lot of fun. The things that I got to do, I drove Sheldon Creed's car at Charlotte. That was my first takeaway, was going into turn one with that and realized that I plowed straight into the wall immediately because the physics are very, very different. And then I drove the trucks at Richmond in Raja Karuth's truck and saw the big difference there. And then I drove, of course, the next gen Cheddar's 8 car at Worldwide Technology Raceway. But
did we get free croissants? Did you score a top 10, top whatever the deal is?
I did not do well in that race at all because I turned the AI up too high. So
did you get a chance to do any of the ARCA? You know anything about that?
Nope, I haven't driven the ARCA at all.
We saw it, but
we saw it.
I didn't.
We could, but we didn't do it. And I didn't do any super speedway racing because I assumed everybody else was going to do it. I was wrong. So that's why we didn't get it.
I feel like in theory, for some reason, although it's terrible in person for the most part, online ARCA super speedways sounds like that's going to be a blast for some reason to me.
Accurate.
Oh yeah,
it'll be accurate. Knowing online players.
Jeff, I remember watching your video you did a few weeks back about your NASCAR 25 impressions and experience. So I remember some of what you talked about there, but I mean, for the audience here who's tuning in, have you been able to have your thoughts sunk in more about the physics, the handling? Like, I start there. Like, how did the game feel control compared to previous console NASCAR games?
It's so much pressure to try to recreate that little amount of time. And I know Jarrett went through the same thing. 45 minutes seems like a lot of time to sit down with the game, but it's really not, because when we took that, and then I felt more like what was an impression on my brain was more from the NASCAR racing experience. Maybe that's what they wanted to do: scrambled eggs around the track. Don't remember anything that happened, but that was like way more impactful of what was in my memory compared to actually playing the game and what I felt. And it was until I got footage back to where I kind of relived it, and I was like, okay, now I remember this and this and this. It's just not enough time to sit down with the game. The problem was that they tapped me on my shoulder and was like, hey, 5 more minutes. I was like, are you kidding? No, I just wanted to keep on playing it. But my impressions and my biggest takeaway was the driving is nothing like any other NASCAR game that I've ever played. I've seen a lot of people throwing the Heat 6 thing out there. I'm like, no. It's such a stupid take to say that it's easy. It's easy. It's punching down on things of the past to call this Heat 6. And I'm like, it's not. The AI is from Monster Games, but I don't know what happens with whenever there's information, like a nugget of information about the AI being like, hey, this is Monster Games AI. This is not iRacing's AI. They immediately go, well, NASCAR Heat, that's like, it's been years they have evolved that entire thing. Same thing with iRacing. It's like they don't just copy and paste the file in there and then it just works. It doesn't work that way. But what I saw in the AI over time, from like what we saw, me and Jarrett saw, compared to what the creators that just saw the Discord call thing recently, was a stark difference. Like very, very different.
Super speedways were night and day different. Like because I jumped in Talladega, because as soon as they told me like don't do it, I was like, I'm gonna do it. Yeah. And so I jumped in, and there was still cool stuff I learned. Like you get, if you have it set up right, you have like these mega massive runs, like going 212 down the super stretch, but they would go single file, and you'd basically like have to just like watch the 2013 Daytona 500, and you pretty much have an idea of what the AI was like when I tried it for like a 5-lap race. Whereas like the Xfinity showcase kind of thing they did of like, I think 12 laps at Daytona, you could see there were runs and there were different things like that. Like it has been a big difference in those 5 or 6 weeks between us playing it and then them getting to see that. I honestly would say that like the gameplay, and in some ways when the AI, like when I raced Kansas, worked pretty well. It kind of reminded me of like a little bit better version, or not even a little bit, probably a better version of the SRX game, which I thought was a pretty solid game.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But to me, the physics were nothing like, to me, they didn't feel like anything like SRX. It felt like a dumbed down iRacing. Like, and that's the biggest regret I have, is that when I went in and played, I didn't go through the settings. I didn't tailor the game to my experience. I just trusted whatever was there and just sat down and played it. Because it's like, I'm not going to go through all the settings. I do regret not doing that now. And I also regret not wrecking people out, like going in and turning the slider down and this, because now we have Daytona Gate with that game. And it's like, they're like the battles about the sliders. And it's like, man, if I was in their position right now in the marketing team, I would say, hey, let's turn those sliders down and show what a right hook on a car is, just to silence people. Just show them what's in there. To me, whenever we went there, it felt to me like nothing was hidden or anything. They were very open and transparent about everything. And now it seems like ever since they did this Discord call, and it's the same thing. We played the game, but it's hard to remember that, let alone watching a Discord call of somebody else play the game and then take notes from that. It's really a difficult thing, but also they're right on schedule with marketing. You know, they're going to get the game out early to content creators, and you're going to see the game for all that it is. It's just leading up to it. They're going off of like sports game marketing. And I think it's upsetting people because they're not getting enough information fast enough. But the thing is, it's almost here. We're going to find out very, very, very soon.
That is true. That's why this times out nice. We're, I think, less than 2 weeks away from the official console launch. So that's exciting for a lot of folks. So, I mean, yeah, it sounds like y'all. I wanted to ask both you and Jared if you like. There are a few features, like we know. For example, I remember when Ignition first came out, didn't they not have a rear view camera? And it was like, oh gosh, and that was a whole mini.
They never had a mirror. Never had a mirror.
Yeah, rear view mirror. I guess camera. I'm 21st century, I guess. And like, this one we've heard like Mexico City won't be in the game, but we do know there'll be 40 player online multiplayer. Did we talk about on the show, Jared? Do we know if they'll have private online lobbies, or was that something that was in question? They will or won't?
Yeah, they will.
They said they.
Yeah, I had I was talking to Matt and I asked him that directly. I was like, "What's going on with the multiplayer thing?" And he said it's a 40 car lobby, private lobbies, and yes, you can kick people from lobbies. So that was like a big thing. I was like, well, that's everything you need.
Because initially he had said in that Discord deal that like there wasn't, and it exploded. And I think he ended up misspeaking, because I think he and a few of the other people had like made a big point of like there's going to be private lobbies and we'll be adding stuff. I know with the driver rating thing, it's supposed to be updated, and it sucks that it's getting released a month before the season ends, but it's supposed to be getting updated monthly during the season. Cool. It was pretty cool. I asked him, like, are you going to add different things to it the way like Madden, they have like awareness or a quarterback throw power, like you can do like, awareness for drivers or different things. And like they genuinely seemed like they were looking into doing that and had already started like going down that. And I would think it'd be cool down the line. And it was something that they sort of started asking me about, of like how I would do it. I love going into Madden games and changing the attributes of different players, because you can go in and like change their awareness or change their tackling ability and stuff like that. I think the only difference is like, they said there's stuff with the big thing with a lot of it, with any of the drivers, especially when changing anything about them, is like there's always some kind of licensing thing or problem, or somebody has some money somewhere invested in it because of the racing side. So I almost feel like the NASCAR bureaucracy will be like one of the few things that actually holds back really big things, like silly season, for instance. It's not in career mode this first go round. Like, I feel like the NASCAR bureaucracy nowadays, even compared to the 2000s, is what's going to hold that back, because it sounds like they want to do it. Like, they were pretty adamant they wanted to. It's just more teams bite to that.
That's my last question for you then, Jeff. Based on what you know so far, is there any, like, we know there's no split screen. Some people, I know Danny's not a fan of that. For me, it's not
care
really
about
a deal breaker. But is there a feature that is missing or that is surprisingly in the game that to you is like surprised you, I guess, Jeff? That's the way I'll put it.
I would say the fact that you can't take left side tires is weird, because NASCAR's added so many road courses to the schedule that is an important thing. And I was kind of blown away that wasn't there. I think they need to really rethink that one, because they have good arguments for it. Day and night transitions aren't in the game, and I can understand the idea of like advance. It's an easy thing to do to just advance time through the stages, but it does seem weird when you're like sunset and then you're like, it was just a stage break. Why is it already nighttime? I get why people don't like that. To me, that is, another one. And the caution replays. The thing is, I never really cared about caution replays, even back whenever I played NASCAR 14 and 15, which is annoying to me. I'd always skip it. I get why people want it. To me, I think that we need a good, proper photo mode and a more fleshed out replay system. I think that is way more important than a caution replay system, in my opinion.
I would agree with that. I hadn't even considered that, but that would be a really cool, like, photo mode in a game like this would go crazy. That would go nuts. Danny, I'm sorry, you were going to say something about split screen. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, just on the split screen note, like, I know most people just like doing multiplayer online with their friends these days, but one thing, my wife didn't really grow up playing video games like I did, but every now and again, me and her will go upstairs, turn on the PlayStation, or play the college football 26 game. We enjoy picking probably random teams sometimes, playing each other on that. And so, similar thing, I was hoping for just an experience. Hey, me and her could just hop in a race, and she might be bouncing up the wall, but we're still having fun playing together, and can't even do that. So that's one of the that's probably one of the biggest things that I wish was there, but it won't be. And then little thing, I wish Burnouts run the game. I really do.
Yeah. Actually, I do have one more question here. Eric in the chat, does NASCAR 25 have crossplay support? Has that been confirmed? Probably not.
Does not.
It did.
And then I feel like there's one other question. Oh no, not another question, but I was just going to say that I agree with Spencer in the chat. I just want the game to be playable and functional. Yeah, I'll throw fun in there as well, but yes, generally I just want a game that plays well. Because it's been too long since we've had that as NASCAR fans. So
there's just a nightmare that was my waste of money on Ignition was just laughable now.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
I think
it was bad. This will not be Ignition. I know that because I've played it. Even playing the dev build, because when we played the dev build, we didn't even have a rotating camera. We had the dev camera. We were switching between it, so it was not a finalized game at all. Like, it's very different what we saw compared to what is out now. But I think once we get to the finish line, it's going to be even better than what we played. And to me, that's enough of what I want from the game. I think, it's easy to nitpick things. And it's also kind of crappy to be like, oh, well, we need to wait another year for the next game when these simple things should be fixed. I understand that argument, but also it's like, they are creating a core base for the game so they can build on it. But I think a lot of people just think that it's NASCAR Heat 6 and they just use the same thing from here to here, just because they add those customizable, menus and stuff. I think that's what's really throwing that out there.
I'm going to ask you this, just because there is no physical copies, it's only a digital release. Is there some features people might be like, we want this now, but it's not there? Could there be several things that's added in later in an update?
I have no clue what their development cycle is looking like. To me, I mean, I think they're going to be able to probably have a big day one patch. And maybe that's usually what a lot of these developers do in this stage is they did the gameplay reveal. They're taking the feedback from the entire community and they're going to do whatever they can in the DLC 1 patch. And then, but it's like, how many of these big patches are we going to get until they're already in the development cycle of the next game?
Yeah.
It's really hard to say. And I'm not on the team, so I have no idea what their plans are with that.
So two things. I know they did say they were going to do something before Daytona, like adding Chicagoland in and like sort of a 2026 scheme pack and all those other things. I don't know if it's free or if we have to pay for it or whatever it's going to be. I don't know any of that. Dale Jr. pretty much confirmed this week on his Ask Junior segment that they're doing yearly releases. Because they had told us they didn't know. They still said they don't know if it's yearly or different times. But then Dale Jr. is like, well, we're have one in 26 and then do the next one in 27. Again, I sort of sit on the fence. And maybe this is because I'm somebody that likes to play like, frontier games like Jurassic World Evolution, where I'm fine with the same game for like 3 or 4 years and then taking a massive step with the next one while also adding to the current one. It was funny, Jeff. I don't know if you saw this, but during it, he was like, "Yeah, we had some of those content creators go out, but like they get early access, so we don't know if if they got paid to say it or what." And I was in the chat, and I just went, "Yeah, trust me, I wasn't paid to say anything, and I would have said something if I didn't like it." Like, I feel like I feel like both of us have enough of a body of work to be like, we're not going to just shillcast the whole thing.
No.
It's not. I mean, it's not going to be like Thunder 04 reincarnated, but it's a solid start. Like,
I see a lot of the camp that wants this game to be not what it is. They want something that is like iRacing, yet it's not iRacing. It's like, well, that's not what they're doing. They have to cater to a much more broad audience of the NASCAR fan base that want a arcade experience when they play the game, compared to the people that want it hardcore. I think they're doing a really good job of doing both with the slider system. And I know everybody's like, what about the slider system? It's like, this is on their marketing team to show the slider system in action in some quick way so that it just kind of clears the air, because there's a lot of people upset about it.
Yeah. Well, I am looking forward to playing it. I fall into that category of someone who, if I really want to like sit down, hardcore, focus, and race, I'll fire up real iRacing. But I've been longing for a more casual NASCAR IP game to play with friends, to take as seriously as I want, but also as not seriously as I want.
It's fun to play with one of these bad boys,
Exactly. So
I got
I'm
P6.
looking forward to this.
I got P6 at Kansas and iRacing this past week. And
Jared,
ran up in third.
Jared,
Where's the hang the banner graphic? No, I'm just kidding.
I want grip. That's what I'm looking forward to this game, is grip, because iRacing is not a lot of grip, and sometimes at low speeds the grip is so weird. Like, I really, really love the NASCAR games because it's the racing can be a lot of fun compared to a frustrating experience or a really fun experience. It's kind of back and forth when you're out there with live players.
Can we take the Zane Smith line for grip at Kansas?
Figure out
bound to be a way. By the way, just like, I don't know if there's much more to add, but just for Jimmy Leos in the chat, I don't know about Jeff, but I didn't drive through the garage. I don't think that's an option like ignition, but
no, and I think it's too quick between the cuts. That's a matter of people's time is precious, and you can equate that to brain rot and 30-second whatever videos hitting your brain over and over and getting a dopamine hit from it, but it's way too fast for me. I want like the engine to start up a little bit and then slowly roll, or just give us like, I don't know, 3 more seconds of what's currently in the game that I've seen. And then I think it would be a little more polished, in my opinion.
Cinematic. Yes. Yeah.
And that was one thing. With all of its flaws, I felt like Ignition did do a decent job of its cinematics within the game.
Yeah, the
I got
pre-race
tired of that guy
was good in it.
patting the top of the car every time, though. That thud
Don't
always
don't.
rang in
Air
my
Force
ears.
One landing at Daytona while you fly into the track.
Oh, don't worry. We have our own meme now because the animation is just just a thumbs up every time you get a pushback or you're going out in the track. That'll be the new meme. Will be the thumbs up thing. There's no animation when you're changing gears. In iRacing, they don't do that either, unfortunately. But
the thumbs up one reminded me of one of those Planet of the Apes movies where Steve Zahn's character just goes.
Yes,
That's what it reminded me of immediately.
I'll definitely be interested to see how it is when it comes out. I will still say my favorite stock car racing game that's come out for a console in recent years was the SRX game. It still holds up to be a very fun one to hop on and play. So if it can be just as fun as that one, in my opinion, they'll have done a good job. So I'm looking forward to seeing how it goes.
One thing sorry, I was going to say with the audio is fantastic in NASCAR 25. The only thing is missing on the next gen is the whine from the transaxle. I didn't hear any of that. Almost.
I mean,
that was kind of wild. It's not a finished thing that we saw, and I hope that they look into that. But yeah, you need that transmission whine. It's very, very prevalent in that car.
When I ran up next to the wall at Kansas, because you can rim ride at least when you get it hooked up. Like that reverb was awesome, but I did notice that too. I would say too, because there's probably a lot of people who are still very much on the fence, and it's probably not the best thing to say, but for what they would want to hear. But wait to see what it looks like and see for yourself, not just a few clips. And that's it. They even told us to that at the showcase. Like, if there's people on the fence and it doesn't, this doesn't sway them back and forth, tell them to wait. We don't want them to go in and hate it right away. Like it's such an overused term, but it does seem very clear there's real effort being put forth that there just wasn't in the last one. I'll say this: whenever I've been critical about the game, I have not had anyone ever DM me telling me to stop. It's been a DM like, "Hey, like, what do you think of this, this, and this?" Or like actually asking my input, which I really appreciated. It wasn't just like "Hey, shut the hell up. It doesn't help our marketing." Like. It's a big difference.
Well, real quick, before we move on to our fun segments, we get to the final act of our show. I want to touch on this other headline. So we alluded to this earlier, but there was let's say some leaked images, a report from Adam Stern that seems to suggest NASCAR's 2026 rebrand is going to be all about back to its roots. The tagline of simply "Hell yeah" has been thrown around in PowerPoint presentations.
You're watching Play Football on YouTube channel.
Oh my gosh, we already have a sound bite for it. Jared has been up burning the midnight oil to bring us the best sound bites here on NWP.
I had one beer, then I had two beers.
I like the return to roots dynamic. I'm not sure how I feel about "hell yeah" as a catchphrase. It seems pretty obvious they're trying to piggyback off the Cletus craze.
Yep, 100%.
If he hasn't, he's probably trademarked "hell yeah, brother" already. So NASCAR can't encroach on that territory directly. "Hell yeah" by itself, I liken it to, it's like a corporation trying to convince its audience, yeah, we're edgy, we're cool, we curse, but only as much as our corporate partners will allow us to. So it's like, it feels disingenuous. I think they need to work on that catchphrase, but the back to its roots campaign seems very real. And I don't think it's just a marketing ploy. If you look at what they've done in recent years, like North Wilkesboro is going to get a points date next season. Ram Trucks is back and they're leaning into the grassroots, rah patriotism. There've been some, discussions lately around increasing the horsepower for the Cup cars. That's kind of a fun throwback idea. Dale Jr. on the Dale Jr. download mentioned they might have longer practice sessions again next year.
That should have been done forever ago.
And of course, the recent communication, the recent conversations have been around potentially eliminating the playoffs altogether. Or if we keep playoffs, going back to a more simplified format like in the mid-2000s. So
that's when I hear return to roots. Initially, what I think of is the way the championship is decided. That's initially where my mind goes to. And I'm sure most your average NASCAR fans should be thinking that as well.
Homestead's the finale again, like it was for 20 years nearly. I mean, so I don't think it's just a marketing campaign. I think there's actual real legs to this. Like they are planning maybe some smaller changes, but changes nonetheless that are reminiscent of NASCAR from yesteryear that I hopefully will pique
Well,
the
and
interest of some of those
you know,
diehard fans that have turned away in recent seasons.
well,
That's what they're hoping for, I'm sure.
add too, I mean, the push for Rockingham. Like, there's been Rockingham, like you said with Wilkesboro in a point chart, it's like that is literally finishing the return to NASCAR. Like the All-Star race was nice, and it was awesome being there in person. I've never experienced anything like that first race back at Wilkesboro, that first weekend again. Like, I say it every time because of problems at my hotel. I had to leave late and show up late to the truck race, and walking up to that racetrack, it was like seeing a painting out of the 80s or 90s.
Yeah.
Pack stands, just that old school feel to it. So there's that, and there's like all those other things you're saying, and it makes me hope. Like, if anything else, I know people have been constantly saying this, and I've seen it on Reddit especially, of like, stop getting your hopes up. And it's like, I want to get my hopes up as a fan. Like, that's been the problem with NASCAR for so long now, is that like longtime fans, we really don't get our hopes up because it always seems to get just like, oh, you're going to do something new. And we did the dumbest possible thing. Like, 2015, I remember like, yeah, we're going to take downforce off the cars and like up the horsepower even more. Going into 2015, what do? Let's put a tapered spacer on it and add more downforce to it.
Yeah,
What the hell?
exactly.
Why not?
Yeah.
Like, so I want to get my hopes up. And if I'm disappointed by a few things, so be it. But like the horsepower one, especially from like listening to Dale Jr.'s podcast last night, like it sounds like NASCAR wants to take some big swings with that part of it, like 750 around there, maybe a little bit more. And you got to remember too, like this is all leading up to eventually having a hybrid component to it that would add probably another 100, 150 horsepower. So
Good.
I will take any little bit of added horsepower that can fight against the problems at the short tracks right now too. Like anything that can make the short tracks just a little bit better, I will take.
I think more broadly, and Danny and Jeff, I'd be curious what you think of this. Like NASCAR the past few years from a marketing standpoint has kind of towed this line between, yeah, we want to expand, go to Mexico City, Chicago streets, chase new audiences, be like the NFL, be like F1. But at the same time, we'll give back to our roots. We'll go to Bowman Gray Stadium. We'll bring North Wilkesboro back from the dead. Like they've kind of gone both paths and walked that line. And when you try to be all things to all people, you often end up being nothing to anyone, or however the saying goes. So I've praised all the new exciting things they've done because I have a blast watching them. I loved going to the Coliseum the first couple of years. That was so cool. But at the same time, when it comes to the health of the sport and truly delivering a consistent message, I've wondered the past few years, is there going to come a turning point where NASCAR has to kind of pick a lane? Are we going to be a Southeastern sport at first and foremost and lean into those roots? Or are we really going to try to be F1 and go to Brazil or whatever the hell they've been talking about? Like they're going to have to pick a lane. Maybe this is them picking this lane. I don't know how y'all feel about it, or if you think it's the right decision or if you see it a different way. Danny, what do you think?
I don't mind them doing these, different and fun events. I really don't. Like the San Diego race has me very excited because that gives me a reason to go to San Diego. To the things that get my wife and I to travel, usually sports, is either NASCAR or Tennessee Volunteers football, and we ain't going to be going to San Diego anytime soon for anything. So this gives me a good reason to go out there and check out a new city that I probably never went to otherwise. So
it's a really cool city.
So I do like the idea of doing this. So I'm all for stuff like that. But what I think needs to be done is to get me a little bit more excited about this time of year for the sport is just having a way that just rewards what the season should be, in my opinion.
Sure.
And I think the biggest
you're focused on that. Yeah.
The biggest issue for me is the way we are deciding the championship now. It didn't eat on me as bad a couple of years ago as it has been these last few years. I realized I start to check out more this time of year because it just seems to not matter to me. It doesn't matter what happened several races ago. That in the end, all that really matters is what happens in the span of only a couple of weeks.
Jeff, what do you think of NASCAR's sort of supposed rebranding efforts? Is it the right call, or you think they're selling themselves short? Like, what do you think there?
Look, they definitely are aware that they aren't filling all these seats at these stadiums. They know, like at these tracks, they are not seeing the numbers that they want in the seats. So I'm sure they're kind of panicking sometimes whenever they see like Bristol's attendance or even Kansas attendance and things like is nothing like it used to. I mean, you can look at a race 10 years ago compared to today and see the difference right there in the stands. So I think they're aware of that, and they're desperate. I think they go, maybe we did screw up. We need to try something else. I'm in the camp of give them horsepower in the car. I think these cars need to be back up to what they used to be, and just try it. They haven't even tried it. The drivers have asked for it. The fans have asked for it. They haven't even tried it. It could be a disaster. Maybe the new car just won't like it, but I like that. And then for the playoffs, I like the chase over the original 36 race deal. But I'm torn between the two. I would love to see it. I think that is absolutely grassroots, and if you're saying that this is what you're doing marketing wise, they're going to try something big. But swinging back into the 2000s doesn't seem like a far enough swing for grassroots of NASCAR, in my opinion.
You were a Kurt Busch fan, if I recall correctly. So it's safe to understand. I'm sure him winning 04 probably has a little bit to do with how you feel about the 10 race.
Well,
no, I just even the current drivers that went through that era all refer back to it as like that was fun. You can see them talk about it. I don't think they hated it when it happened because it was different. But when they went over this new playoff system, a lot of them really didn't like that. So I don't know. I think it's tough on NASCAR to figure out what are you going to do. I can't see them doing the chase again. It seems so weird to go, let's chase for the cup again. What are you going to call it? Like run for the cup or something stupid? Or just keep it the playoffs. I don't know what they're going to do with the naming of that. But if you go back to the 36 race deal, the playoffs kind of go away, gone. They don't have the playoffs anymore, and I don't know how they're going to handle that.
Well, in the chat, I see. I think it's Bob Franks, bro, is how you say it. Brought up, I think, a good point too. Is like teasing the old fans, especially the ones that are left here, with a 36 race championship and then not doing it. I think that kind of hype up and then let down for a lot of people who might be on the fence. Like I do think that would turn a lot of people off too, just because there's been so much churned up about this. And that's like, I go back to what Dale Jr. was talking about. And he went into more detail yesterday than Jeff Gluck did, which I really enjoyed, because he had brought up when they started the whole committee that like, they all pretty much went in there like, yeah, 36, in his words, 36 race championship, full season, it's taboo. Like nobody wants to talk about it. No one really wants to hear about it. They did a vote, and Mark Martin was like the lone knight fighting against the oncoming army. And he's just going to fight until he falls. And then sort of as it's went, and as this whole, summer and years went, the way he put it is it sounded like, at least from how Dale Jr. put it, is that it was a whole lot more people jumping to that side of it, from media to competition to, people in the industry and sport. And the way he put it is that after that, he'd give a full season championship a 30 to 40% chance. He said, though, that what sells him is not Jeff Gluck, is Adam Stern tweeting about it. Because in his words, Stern don't just tweet rumors, or not rumors, wishful thinking and theories. And so I enjoyed the conversation I had about that, because they brought up that point too, is like, there's been a lot of momentum even in the industry and inside NASCAR of that happening. It's like, I really think that it's going to get to the point where NASCAR, again, just like they might be doing with this marketing thing, it's going to be that crossroad. It's going to be, do we buy all into the roots part, and do we go to 36, or do we just tweak it a little bit and hope that Band-Aid is the fix that, of a add 3 races to the final round and have a 4 race final round thing. I have to say, I think this is the most consequential change to the format since the original chase. Like this will set the sport up for the next 20 or more years. Like if you decide to still go with basically what we have now, like you set your path. You can't turn back because the people that don't like it are going to fall off. If you go all the way back to the roots, you're probably going to lose some of these newer fans that like the playoffs. Like I brought it up before. I know people who have watched the sport forever and absolutely love 36 races as it. But at the same time, I know people that have watched forever or are new and they like the playoff side of it. Like there is a big part of that fan base. You have split the fan base forever on this. You have to choose which side you're going to appease now.
Yeah. I do think this is an example. This is an example of them having to commit. And there is a way they can commit to a format that sort of is a compromise. Like you've talked about, like a version of like the 10 race playoff from the 2000s, couple changes here and there might be a compromise most people can get behind, because even those Twitter polls that like Gluck and Mark Martin have done, and I think Twitter is a little more friendly maybe to the idea of a full season. Even those Twitter polls are 50, 55, 60%. It's not all, it's pretty split down the middle as far as what the average fan wants to see. So it's not, that's why it's not an easy decision for the sanctioning body ultimately to make, but it is an important one, like you just said. Well, that was fun. That was a good conversation. We've got nearly 700 people watching live right now on YouTube. Shout out to the chat. Chat has been chiming in with their ideas this entire conversation. But gentlemen, I think it's time we have some fun. We've kept the chat waiting. It's time for our fun segments. Jeff, I don't know if you're prepared for this. I hope Jarrett warned you ahead of time.
I have it. I'll do the best I can.
We do our prediction segment. This is a very open-ended segment where every week we each make 2 NASCAR or motorsports related predictions. We keep track and hold ourselves accountable each week. And we try to keep them fairly contained, not, hey, in 10 years, so-and-so's going to do this. Try to keep it pretty self-contained there. But so we'll go one at a time. We'll let Jeff go last so he kind of sees how it goes. Danny, do you want to kick things off? What's your first prediction for this week?
We do the accountability session.
I'm sorry, you're right. How did we do last week? You're right. I got ahead of myself. Oh, okay. Danny had no come off the board, no predictions. What about me? How did I do? Oh, no predictions from me either. What were we just asleep at the switch last week? Okay, Jarrett, what about you?
I wasn't.
Hey, 1 for 1. There we go. Good job.
I started to say, Jarrett, did you cut him off for no reason? Can we just go straight into it?
I know. I was about to laugh. Jarrett predicted, I think a while back, that SVG will get a non-super speedway oval top 10 this year. He did. 10th at Kansas. Well played. What are the standings? Danny's still leading for this year. I didn't even realize that Jarrett had fallen to 3rd. That's crazy, because I think the all-time standings still have Jarrett on top. Yes, by a sizable margin. 38% correct for Jarrett. All right. New predictions. We'll go one at a time, starting with you, Danny. What is your first prediction for this week?
The 8 drivers who are currently in the round of 8 going into the Roval will stay that way coming out of the Roval.
Fair enough. Okay. I think I go second on the list. I think Chase Briscoe, who has finished top 10 in every playoff race so far, will keep that streak alive this weekend at Charlotte.
I'll go far out. By 2028, Hendrick Motorsports will buy out Connor Zilich's contract, and he'll drive the 48 car.
God damn it, Jared! Now we have to pay attention. What did I just said? Self-contained. You just put a 3-year.
That was it was the far end, but it's contained. He fits the Hendrick mold. He's a great, talented driver in the Chevy tree, and there is no way that I think Chevy would risk him leaving if Trackhouse went to like Honda or Dodge one day. And there's no way that Hendrick would want to give up that kind of talent either if they could have it. I mean, imagine a team with Byron and Larson and Elliott and Zilich.
Yeah. more like I believe Jeff Gordon doesn't want to get away from him, because he was the one who handpicked Jimmy Johnson to the 48. He wants to keep another good one in the 48, I feel.
Jeff, what is your first prediction?
Christopher Bell will be a champion.
Okay. In the next 3 years?
I would say either this year or next year, but he is a pick for mine of this year.
And the good thing is we don't really have to track the guest picks. Yours are more for fun.
Yeah, that's good. I believe
our audience does, though.
They will. They'll hold you responsible. Where are we at? Danny, your second prediction.
I will not be trailing Eric in random driver of the week at the end of the season. We may be tied.
Wow.
We may be tied. I may be leading, but I will not be trailing Eric.
Calling his shot, I guess, to some degree. Okay. My prediction, I'm keeping it all Roval related. I'll keep this one focused on the Cup Series. I think a playoff driver will spin or get spun in that turn 7 hairpin at some point in Sunday's race.
I'll do one. They'll be resolved by the end of the off season. Neither side in any way will fully settle in the for anything. There will be no full settlements of the lawsuit. They're gonna. I think they're gonna see it. They're gonna see it through to the end, and they're gonna burn the house down around them.
Oh my gosh, Jarrett the pessimist this week.
I don't think it's being pessimistic. Listen to Denny. Listen to how Denny talks. That is not a man who is like, we're gonna sing Kumbaya and have a little like fun circle around the fire.
You're very serious. Like, this is the turning point for the sport. They're gonna burn the house down. Very sensational language here. This is.
I don't think it's sensational. Look what's at stake with all of these different.
See, I'm really damn big. Just seeing how the way the race went down. Him not caring if Bubba really got the win or not. Him wanting to get his 60th win. I'm like, maybe he is planning to ride this out and just leave NASCAR if this all goes south. I don't know.
Shoot, who knows? Okay,
he sees his cars as expendable.
My next one. Yeah. I would say that Sheldon Creed and Austin Hill will have contact with championship implications this year.
I like it. I hope that
could be this weekend. You never know.
Good stuff. All right, we will keep track of those. Apparently, Jarrett will have to keep track of his Zillage prediction for potentially 3 more years. So we'll all be old and gray by that time. Our next fun segment, and Jeff, I'm not sure if you've participated in this one. This is a fairly new segment still on the show. It's called Random Driver of the Week. It's quite simple. Jarrett has picked a random NASCAR driver from some point in NASCAR history, could be the modern day. He's going to give us clues kind of one at a time, and you, me, and Danny will try to guess who the random driver is. Now, we only get 3 guesses apiece, so we usually let a few clues trickle out before we start throwing names against the wall, but it's quite simple. And Scout's honor here, hide the chat. Don't let the chat influence your decision because they usually get it right before we do.
And don't be like Ryan Preece and Google it.
Yeah, Ryan Preece a few weeks ago just straight up started using Chat GPT to get the answer right.
He's still lost. That's
against the spirit of the rule, Ryan. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
As he's infamous.
I'm gonna be terrible at this, so it's fine.
It's okay. We embarrass ourselves probably every other week, so you get to go down with us this time.
To be fair, the guests have only got this 6 times in the history we've been doing this. So,
and I have stumped them everyone 6 times. So,
all right, let's do it.
Looking back at it, though, Eric leads right now all time 31-29 over Danny. He has 4 of the last 5 correct. He's been on a bit of a heater lately with Jack Sprague, Mike Dillon, Rich Bickle, and Bob Flock. Danny, you got one in the middle there with Sterling Marlin. So
good stuff. Okay. All right.
So this first random driver is a Florida man.
Okay.
I just know every time I say that they're like a North Carolina native, they're like, oh, that narrows it down. This random driver began ATV racing at 3 years old.
Cool.
Oh, by the way, there are 23 clues this week.
I thought you were going to say the chat already had it for some reason.
Dang.
I mean, I could look. This random driver was the youngest ever at the time to compete in the Hooters Pro Cup.
I don't even. Okay.
And has over 300 wins and 18 championships at the karting level.
Wow. Okay. That sounds like a lot. I don't know if it is.
From the ages of 13 to 26, this random driver has over 100 wins at the super late model level.
Ooh, gee whiz. Okay.
I'm just like,
I'll throw out a name. I don't have a name. I don't have a guess. I'm going to save it. I got it.
Come on.
No, I don't have it. I thought I did. No,
just do it. Do it.
No, I know it'd be wrong. Because I know this guy's not from Florida. So never mind.
This random driver has been tweeted about twice by me, once by Danny, 8 times by Eric, and never by Jeff.
Oh, dang.
Who is Ross Chastain?
Is that your guess?
Yeah, it's mine.
Well,
Oh,
no.
Thank you
Okay.
for at
I'm
least
gl-
getting it out of the way because I was kind of
Yeah,
wondering.
yeah. I knew you needed that anyway.
Yep. Thanks.
Chad hasn't gotten it yet.
I was about to say
Okay.
though, I don't remember Ross being a legend in super late models, but
This random driver made their first NASCAR start in 2010 with Germain Racing supporting them, finishing 17th in the race. This
that should
random
be
driver's
big.
first Cup start was for Circle Sport Racing.
Circle Sport? Is it bad that I've never heard of them?
They raced in the 2010s in Cup.
Did they?
Mhm.
Did they actually race? Or
Mhm.
did they,
I think they scored top fives
when?
sometime in the 2010s.
Oh, I'm trying to get more clues out of him and he won't give them to me.
This random driver ran one career ARCA race for Venturini. Would y'all, and you can take, by the way, Jeff, you can take notes too at any point. Do y'all want to hear the numbers this random driver has
yes,
driven?
please.
Sure.
08, 07, 01, 0, 1, 4, 6, 8, 13, 15, 25, 27, 33, 34, 35, 36,
Oh my
38,
God.
45, 50, 51, 52, 53, 57, 63, 66, 74, 77, 78, 80, 84, 90, 92, 93, and 99.
It's a lot of freaking numbers.
I have no idea.
This random driver has driven 3 OEMs in their NASCAR career.
What
Chevy,
were they?
Ford, and Toyota.
That checks out.
Pretty modern then. Okay.
This random driver has received high praise from 2 NASCAR Hall of Famers, Mark Martin and Dale Earnhardt Jr.
How many times did you say I tweeted about this person?
8.
8. I need another clue. I think I'm getting there.
This random driver has just under 6,000 Facebook followers, 16K on X, and 30,000 on Instagram.
I'm gonna throw out the name. This is. I feel. I'm gonna throw out BJ McLeod.
BJ
He's from Florida.
McLeod, huh?
Oh,
Correct.
I'm on a heater. Oh my goodness.
Nice.
The driver of the podcast party bus.
Wow.
We met
Wow.
BJ. He's a really nice guy.
He is awesome.
That's
is-
crazy.
You
Honestly,
gotta
if
check
he
out his
had
mountain
great-
coaster in Pigeon Forge if you're ever over there, Jeff.
If he had great equipment, I think he could be a top 10 driver, no problem.
He really
heard-
won
yeah.
that much in super late models?
Yeah.
I knew he ran
I
late
double
models
checked
and
like on his wiki and everything. I was like, holy shit.
When you mentioned that recently he's been like praised by Hall of Famers, I was like, oh wait, because I was thinking like kind of a journeyman, like recent journeyman driver, and then I was like, he's from Florida, I think. Yeah. So then that clue about Hall of
So-
Famers.
Circle Sport was the team in the early 2010s after RCR gave up the 33 that had them. I think Landon Castle got a top 5 at Talladega with that car in 2014 when Brad Keselowski won there in like the first year of the elimination playoff.
I recognized the car. I didn't remember the name.
It was an ugly ass car. I mean, that thing
Yeah.
was like, it was the one that had like the really bad camo job, but it just looked like a bunch of
Mhm.
like flecks of random colors.
Oh, love it.
Did the 78
look.
give it away to you? Because I feel like I should have thought about that more because not many people have actually drove that number.
I heard the 78 in there, but I zoned in on all the 30s. I thought, is this a front row driver? I was thinking, is this David Gilliland?
Right, yeah.
But I don't know where he's from. So
John Riggs in the chat. This random driver has sex appeal as a person.
that would have given it away instantly.
I didn't know he was from
30s,
Florida originally. So.
29.
I didn't know he was Florida native. Didn't know.
I don't know why I knew that. That is a fun fact. I just happen to know. So I'll take it.
That just means for me to get a prediction right, I'm gonna have to gain at least 3 more.
I'm on fire.
First time anyone's ever had a 3 lead.
Oh, you might. I think you're right. I'm about to lock up the championship a couple weeks early. We need
I think it's the
playoffs.
First time in a long time it's been 3 in a row correct by one person.
We have 5 more episodes after this, so I need to get at least
You need to get 4 of them, I think.
I need to get 3 in a row, and then we can split one for me to
Yeah.
tie.
You need 4 to tie. And we may have guessed. Guest could steal them from me too, so that's possible.
Yes.
But Jeff, thank you for participating. That was a fun one. Well, it's time for our final. We're into the home stretch, gentlemen. This has been a fun night. We've enjoyed hanging out with the chat. It's time to talk about the Charlotte Roval. Few weekend notes coming up here. This is the same tire the Cup cars have run at every other road course this year. Few driver notes. Connor Mozak is in the number 9 JRM car for the Xfinity race. Daniel Hemrick back in Xfinity with the Colleague in the 11. Corey Days in the 17. Almirola in the 19. Ooh, take note of this. Connor Zilich is driving the number 7 Spire truck. The Truck Series, I believe, is this their first Roval race? Yep. Have they run the Roval before?
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy. Chris Wright is in the McAnally number 16 truck. Fun. And Parker Kligerman back in the 75. There it is. There it is. Thank you, Jarrett. Let's start with the truck race. It's the EcoSave 250 67 lap race, 2020-27 stage breakdown, 3:30 p.m. Eastern time on. Is this on Saturday?
It's on Friday.
Yeah. It's on Friday. What a terrible draw. 3:30 p.m. on a Friday for the Truck Series. Ugh. FS1, NRN. Weather looks good, though. Mid-70s. This is their first race. Exciting. Xfinity race Saturday is the Blue Cross North Carolina 250, also 67 laps. Same stage breakdown, 5 p.m. Eastern time Saturday on the CW and PRN. Again, great weather. Probably won't get a monsoon like they got there a few years ago for this race. And the Cup race, of course, is the Bank of America Roval 400. It's 109 laps. Stages are 25, 25, 59. It's a 3 p.m. Eastern start on Sunday on USA Network, also on PRN. And again, weather this weekend, the highs are in the mid to high 70s, 5 to 10% chance of rain. Kyle Larson is the defending Cup Series Roval winner. I forgot to mention this. I always do, but Sam Mayer is the defending Xfinity Roval winner. So be thinking about picks here. The rest of us need to think about the picks, not Jarrett, because he has pulled away to a huge pick point lead. Jarrett has the lead. Chat is 35 points back. I'm 38. And Danny, basement boy, 52 points.
This is definitely the lowest basement boy I've been in a long time.
This is the biggest lead anyone has had in quite some time.
Fun fact, this is the first time since we sort of revamped the pick point system that anyone has a full week lead. The chat can complete. I can have all my picks finished last, and the chat can get a sweep, and I still won't lose the pick point lead this week.
Brutal.
Not for me. I love it.
Jupiter Rain in the chat says we need playoffs. I agree. We need a reset.
Reject modernity. Embrace tradition. Because it gives me the win.
So, Jeff, I know you've done this before with us, but I
love that we've got.
Oh, I think Danny lagged out.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I'm gonna back out and come back in because it's starting to get really bad on my end.
Okay, sorry about that. Well, Jeff, we do these picks. You know how this works. We're gonna pick Truck, Xfinity, then Cup. We'll go one at a time. You don't have to worry about this because you get to go first. But now we are not allowed to pick the same pick as other people. So you have the chance to swipe some of the heavy hitters here. You picked a good week to be on this show because I think there are a couple of heavy hitters in mind. You could always take a gamble. You have some fun with it. Up to you. It's to your call. I'm not going to make the picks for you. But yeah, with that being said, what's up first, Jarrett? The truck race. Jeff, who's your pick to win the Craftsman Truck Series Roval race?
Craftsman Truck Series. I get to steal it, but I'm going to take Corey Heim.
Fair enough. Solid pick. But that does leave another pretty good road racer for Danny if he can hear us.
I can hear you. I can hear you just fine. I also think I know exactly who you're talking about, but he's never truly came to fruition when he's in a truck for some reason. I'm not going to go with Connor Zilich. I'm going to take good old Lane Riggs in this one, actually.
What the hell, guys?
What the hell is happening?
Don't give Eric back into it.
What? I cannot believe. I figured Zilich would be the first two off the board.
I do not trust Connor Zilich in a truck for some reason, guys.
All right. I mean, I'll take Connor Zilich to win the truck race. I feel like I have to take it or else I'll be laughed out of the room. Chat, who you got? Who you got, chat?
I don't want to lose my lead.
Wait, I'm saying no. They're saying 16. They're saying Chris Wright.
I mean, you can poll them if they If
No,
they're
it's
gonna-
pretty much unanimous.
There's a lot of 16s for some reason.
What are y'all doing?
if they're gonna go for it, let them pay for it. That's their own decision.
I think they saw
No.
Eric take Zillish and they want to make it happen. They want to get him
Better
closer to you.
put a poll up at that point. If
No,
you
I
still
don't.
have
I
them
was
happening.
thinking maybe Majeski. I mean,
There's no need for a poll. It's obviously 16.
If they're not going to take it serious, give them the 16.
They
serious.
are actually going.
They
with
pulled
Chris
this
Wright.
before with the Kevin LePage thing. Like,
So
I mean,
they've got him. They've got him.
it's dude.
give me one. I'm gonna do a 5-second poll.
5-second poll.
So get ready, chat. I mean, there's a
Yeah,
like a
y'all
5-second
better vote
delay.
serious on this one.
I'm giving them like a 5-second poll to see who they pick because I don't want to ruin their season on one meme. All right, chat.
They're not going to. They're not gonna do it.
All right, that was at least 5 seconds. Yeah, they're going Ty Majeski. They thought about Chris Wright, but no Chris Wright. Ty Majeski.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's how they should go. I'm about to say, they better
You're
take it
lucky that
serious.
Eric is sparing you guys because I would not have if it was on my channel.
Neither would I.
Yeah.
Then I'm gonna go Chandler Smith in the 38.
Okay. All right. Xfinity Series race. Jeff, once again, you get to lead us off. Who you got? Fair pick. Yep. Can't argue with
I
that
had to
one.
steal it.
Yeah.
Who's your choice?
I would have wanted him for this series, not the truck series, but I'm gonna go Sam Mayer.
That's a good one. Trying to go back to back. I will take. It's lame, but I'll go Justin Allgaier. It's basic.
I'm pretty sure he's been picked in literally every single one this year in this
He
series.
probably deserves to be. I'm sure Heim has been picked every week. I'm sure. Yeah. No. Yeah. Chat's up next. Who are they going? Where
They
going?
did want Sam Mayer. They were saying 41. I took it from him.
He's become a good little road course racer.
I'm seeing a lot for Austin Hill.
Yeah, they seem to be leaning Hill, but there's some Creeds as well.
It's more Hill than Creed, in my opinion.
I think you're right. I'm gonna do a quick poll.
This one could be longer than 5 seconds this time.
I'll give him 10 seconds. But you gotta have conviction. You got even if you're driving. No, I'm just kidding. Don't vote if you're driving. I was just joking.
Pains me to not choose Sheldon Creed, but I'm being realistic here.
Sheldon Creed.
Look. I know he's the big bully, but you guys got to think for a second who's won, who hasn't.
That's true. Bullying works, as they say. Chat is picking Sheldon Creed, 57% of the vote. All right.
Sweet. Okay,
so
then give me the big bully, Austin Hill. I'll take him.
All right. Okay. All right. Real quick, Cup race. Jeff, who's gonna suck? Throwing a curveball here. Who's gonna struggle?
Kyle Busch, man. As a Kyle Busch fan, it pains me to see him in that 8 car, man. It is just not fast this year. And it's been disaster after disaster.
Danny, who you got?
Of all drivers who have made at least 3 starts in the last 3 seasons, this driver holds an average finish of 33rd. He's losing this ride, Daniel Suarez.
No.
Ooh, that's good.
I'll try to pick a playoff driver. Yeah, Chastain's Roval numbers are not great, so I'll throw Ross out there for some reason. He's just not good here. Chat is kind of all over
I
the
see a lot
place.
of Hamlin.
There's a lot of Denny's. I'll just give him Denny.
Remember, whoever you pick, can't pick them for dark horse or win.
I just saw 4 in a row, so yeah, give him Hamlin. He's not a good road racer. So, Jarrett, what about you?
We can pick the same on this one as others. So I'm going to also go Kyle Busch, new crew chief.
Okay.
Not a good year. That's rough, buddy.
Dark horse pick. Before we do win, Jeff, who's a dark horse you got your eye on for the Cup race?
Chris Buescher.
That's a good one. That's a really good one. Okay. Danny?
Dark horse is always a weird segment because it can mean dark horse that they would get a better finish than usual, or in my particular case, dark horse that they could shock you and actually win this race. His average finish numbers are pretty good. I'll say Joey Logano is a dark horse that he might just win this race outright, but I'm not going to pick him to win.
I think he has 6 top 10s and 7 starts here, which is, surprisingly good. I will go with your boy, Danny. I'll go with Alex Bowman. I think he's a top 5 guy this weekend. Get some amount of redemption for what happened last year.
He used to have a great average finish. Now
the DQ probably killed it. Sorry, I know Danny just lost connection again. I feel awful. Chat, dark horse. I think they agree with your Chris Buescher pick, Jeff.
Yep.
I'll tell you what, I like the 77. Give me Hocevar. Hurricane, as Diffie likes to say.
Okay. All right. Then it's time for the main event. This one's for points. Jeff, who is going to win the Roval?
I'm not choosing SVG. I know everybody thinks that I probably would. It's going to be AJ Allmendinger.
Oh, that would be great.
Because he is so hungry for a win this year, and he has not been very, very happy. Look at Coda. I think it's going to be one of those kind of situations where he's going to drive his butt off. But you know what? That'll make it interesting. But I don't think a playoff driver is going to win the race.
I believe that. Oh, gosh. But, Danny, that means you got SVG if you want him. You want him?
I do want him. He was my
Lock him in.
That part out.
I think we got you, Danny. All right,
We
so you
got
got
88
SVG.
more.
What did you not hear?
Everything after I got SVG.
Okay. AJ Allmendinger was my number one pick as well.
What? Wow. I mean, goodness gracious. Okay. I mean,
guys, we've turned.
So Jeff did take my number one pick every time. So
that's crazy. All right. Shoot. All right. I think I gotta take.
Sorry, Danny.
I gotta take Christopher Bell. I think.
Damn it!
One
I
year
could have picked him
before.
3 weeks in a row.
He's the only guy not named SVG to win a road course this year. So.
And now it leaves it to the chat. What's the chat?
Chat.
At? Okay,
I would put Christopher Bell as the dark horse just because I don't know what it is about that. He's a fantastic driver.
I feel like they're discombobulated without the 20 there. There's a lot of 54s though.
I see a lot of 9 and 5s. Maybe I'm
behind.
Yeah.
The chat's been slow for me all night. Like I've been behind on like the polls and stuff. So maybe I'm just behind on it.
I think it's 5 and 9 there's some 54s and 45s, but I think it honestly looks like it's mostly 9, but I'm going to pull the 9 and 5 because I feel like that'd be a pretty decent poll. All right, you guys got like 5 seconds. Place your bets.
Well, while they're doing that, I'll give mine because mine isn't either.
Sure.
William Byron.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not seeing like any 24s here. So you are good there. All right, chat. You got 5, 4. It's close. 3. Place your bets. Go quick. I know there's like a 5-second delay, so I'm going to wait an extra couple of seconds before I hit the end poll button. We are going to end it right there. And it looks like Chase Elliott, by a slim margin, is going to be the chat's pick to go back to back.
We had a popularity contest with Chase Elliott in it, and we wondered what the result would be.
Fair enough. I guess I knew exactly what I was getting us into. Well, that'll do it. All right. That's our picks to win the Charlotte Roval. We're about to do our final Super Chat stage break. But before we do that, I do want to thank once again our guest, Jeff, for spending a couple hours with us tonight. Jeff Favignano. Y'all can find him on YouTube. Link to his channel is down in the description below. Jeff, any content, any series, anything that you'd like to promote that you have coming out soon or that's ongoing on your channel right now?
Yeah, stay tuned. Some new NASCAR 25 stuff coming soon. I do know that. And I've been playing Seafarer, this new ship sim game that comes out in a week. So I'll be doing some more content on that. And also, before I go, I wanted to just say that Butterbean Queen, unbelievable in the ARCA series. And also we're seeing Butterbean, we're seeing Connor Zilisch, and we're seeing Corey Heim doing this all at once because Butterbean is unstoppable.
Great
and
point.
he was good in the Xfinity race too.
He did. He came home 9th, I think, in colleague equipment, which is solid.
Yep.
Yeah, awesome stuff. Well, yeah, no, Jeff, we appreciate you being here. Jarrett, do you have a graphic for next week, just so we can remind folks where they can find us? Yes, on the iceberg. 1 week from tonight, October 8th. We're going to go through these final Super Chat stage break real quick. We left off with Scrapyard 24C says 22 years ago to the day, Elliott Sadler went tumbling in his own number 38, and the Napa Auto Parts driver at the time, Michael Waltrip, went to victory lane that day. Was that the stat you threw out, Jarrett, earlier?
And the 20 finished third in both races, and the
Crazy.
points system was set to be changed the next year.
Wild. Avatar Cora says the Avatar thinks Denny Hamlin's a punk. Hollow says Dale Jr. is the new Larry Mack. Also, let's go Chase. Don't know which Chase, but one of the Chases. Palm Tree 82 says we went from Kyle Busch is an ass to just Kyle Busch is ass.
Oh, that's bad.
I started reading that one before I actually read what it was going to say. That was brutal. Thanks, Palm Tree. And thank you, Ross Crashtain, for the super chat. Hell yeah, isn't to appease the old fans. They're trying to broify it to pick up the Cletus type viewers after seeing the ARCA bump. Yeah, I think there's definitely truth to that, Mr. Crashtain. Alex says, who's most likely to upset the 88 this Sunday? You just heard. Jeff thinks Allmendinger. I think Bell. Jarrett's got Byron. We'll see. Eminem, his palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. There's vomit on his sweater already. Mom spaghetti. I stand with 2311, but not Denny. Gosh, Jesus. At least that was kind of creative. Liam Griffin, thank you for the 5. Send Zilich back to ARCA where he belongs. Bro is washed. He's got no business going to Cup. See what you've done, Jarrett. You've poisoned the minds of race fans.
They used to be better.
Jonathan Azell says, hashtag I stand with Denny and 2311 Racing. TriStar says, could we finally be getting back to the full season point system? A man can dream. Also, should the theme of every NASCAR race just use the 98 menu music? I don't remember NASCAR 98's menu music. Was it that good? Catchy?
One of the songs is in the new one. Yeah. Flirting with a Disaster.
Oh,
Hatchet. That's in the new one.
That's kind of fun. That's a nice little Easter egg. I'm excited. I'm a big System of a Down guy, so they got one of their songs is like the main menu theme. I'm excited about that. That's kind of fun. Where are we at here? Jeffrey King says Toyota on Toyota violence is real. Yeah, been a rough couple of weeks. Avatar Cora says the Avatar wants Eric to know these aren't memes. They seem like memes to me. Seem pretty silly, but I love silly, so keep them coming. Bobby Blair, thanks for the 10, says I like RCR and RC, but he really is the Jerry Jones of NASCAR. Yeah, old, still involved, too involved with their teams. Championships came in the 90s. Yeah, I think the comparisons kind of keep going.
You guys should see the intellectual conversation in the chat we're having right now.
I just see a lot of SVG spamming. What is going on there?
I don't know. We're just doing it.
I like it. Jalames Braun. Very confusing. I don't think Denny overdrove turn 3 into Bubba. It's just when both cars enter the same groove that close, the inside car loses downforce and plows. I mean, yeah, I think they were in a really tight aero spot with how they were squeezing each other. So yeah, I don't think he like blatantly overdrove it either. I just think it was bad aero spot. A couple here from Carson. I stand with 2311. Carson this week says, hey, NWP, I'm happy Eric got to see a great race at Kansas. Glad Brandon Jones and Elliott won instead of annoying Zilich and Larson. This Carson viewer is not, he's been sending comments for a while now, is not a Connor Zilich fan, has made that very clear. But we appreciate the support. Carson says, I didn't get to watch Kansas. It was a crazy weekend. I was at a friend's wedding, assisting kids at church. Yeah. So that's a busy weekend for Carson. Thanks for tuning in tonight. NWP Pick Monkey says this week's monkey picks are Heim, Zilich, and SVG. I think, Heim. Jeff picked Heim and picked Zilich, but did not pick SVG. Picked AJ instead. So
I want to clarify. I had AJ. I'm gonna wrote them as my fun number 1 simply because I thought he was just taking SVG anyway. So that's why I wrote AJ.
Fair
so then I wrote SVG second in case I was wrong.
Alex Luff says, speaking of hell yeah, I would love to see Harvick give Boyer a stunner in the announcer's booth. Chris McIntyre, NASCAR 26, Chris Wright, talent experience. I'm in. Come on, guys. Let's go easy on Chris Wright. I don't even think he's racing full time anymore.
It's not the talent experience. It's a talent memorial.
Yes, of course. Alex Luft again says, might be a hot take, but I would love to see an unrestricted Daytona or Talladega race. I honestly think that plate racing is counterintuitive thanks to the big one when it comes to safety.
You're never going to say it, buddy. I'm sorry.
I think it's more safety for those in the fans and making sure a car doesn't fly up into them.
That's probably true. Splinter says, the best driver should win the championship, not the luckiest. If it's decided early or the same guy wins multiple in a row, so be it. Other drivers and teams need to step up their game. Points for the win. Fair enough, Splinter. It seems to be growing momentum for your case. We're in the home stretch here. Hunter Nixon Fishing says, I want a full season format back, but I can get behind the 3-3-4 playoff format that's been proposed more than the current. Yeah, I think that could be one of those sort of compromises that get considered. Larger sample size at the end is what everyone is asking for. Daniel Meredith Jr. says, my prediction is Larson will win Talladega. That would be a plot twist. Finally wins a super speedway, and it's to get the championship for it. That would be cool. Mom 990. I enjoyed meeting you and Brennan Saturday and seeing Chase win on Sunday. I'm happy to be close to Kansas because it's my favorite track too. It's great to meet you as well. Thank you for coming out to Brennan and I's little stage show on Saturday. We should be doing another one of those at Phoenix Raceway in a few weeks. If anyone's coming out there, start clearing your Saturday afternoon schedule. I think we'll get another time to do that out there. From Ryan Boucher here. Hey, Jeff, do you play ETS2 along with ATS? I'm looking forward to Iceland being released. As for ATS, I'm looking forward to Illinois.
I play them both, yes, but I play American Truck Sim more.
There you go. Final few here. Rowdy 8 Diecast says, I don't expect any difference in the 8 car for this year. I mean, it's a new crew chief for like 5 races, and it's a guy who's been internal at RCR for quite some time. So, I'm not expecting a huge turnaround. Will Griffin says, if Chevy really wants to help Hendrick, they'll get a good engine in the 78 at Dega. As a Gordon fan, I say go back to full season points. As a Johnson, Elliott, and Larson fan, I don't know. Gordon is technically an 11-time champion. Okay, I don't know. That's the crazy talk here.
I don't get that one.
I think they're because some have said if they had full season points, he'd be a 7-time champ. So he's like adding the 7 to the 4 that he does have, which is not how that would work.
Yeah, I was say because like I could totally. The 2007 one is easy to get. The other 2 are still relatively close, though. So it's like I get he scored the most points, but they would have raced different.
Jacob Rao says, Jeff is the best YouTuber ever. Got 5. I'm going to make it 6 thumbs up on that. There we go.
He's got a good point,
Awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, Jeff, you always have been one of our like fan favorite guests. So we do appreciate you doing this.
There's no one that I watch faster than him, Ryan, or Bugs anytime they've uploaded one of their new adventures in OCRP.
Hey, we just got done recording yesterday, so we have a new one coming out on Friday and Monday.
Ooh. Daniel Meredith says, LOL, go Steelers. Dang.
Oh, they put the Vikings this week.
Oh, I see.
They barely beat Carson Wentz.
Shiesty MMA says, goated show. Thanks, guys. Thank you. I like this one from FinApp. Thoughts on a fan-voted Final 4 spot next year?
That's a ban.
Get him out of here.
I'm sure
put
Denny
this guy on
would
the
win that
playoff
one.
committee. What if we had an AP poll like in college football?
Well, so far the AP poll has been a bunch of crap for a lot of this season.
Who knows? Maybe Bianchi'd get behind it.
There's been so much
Team
debate
chaos.
on that. There was a girl who, after Florida had lost like 2 games, had them go up in the rankings. I'm like, how?
Grizzly Industries. Eric, did you enjoy your cameo on Front Stretch? And Denny shouting you out on his podcast seems like recognition is getting bigger over time. Denny gave me a little shout out on his podcast. That gives me like the heebie-jeebies when that happens, because like Denny Hamlin's been in NASCAR about as long as I've been a fan. So like 20 years plus. And so like hearing my name like perfectly pronounced into a high quality microphone in my ears was jarring. I will say, like, hearing that come out of Denny's, very cool. I think people are recognizing me more because I'm 7 feet tall, and so it's hard to miss me when I go out in public. I think it's simple as that. I'm just in people's face. They can just see me everywhere.
I saw you multiple times on the broadcast too on Sunday.
Oh no, what was I doing?
You're on pit road at the start for 2 times that came back from commercial break, and then you were standing next to Bubba after the race.
Nobody like, I didn't see it go viral.
You didn't look lost.
I wasn't like picking my nose. Did they show me? Did they show me next to Bubba at the end of the race?
Yeah. When you kind of moved out of his way.
Oh God, yeah. Because I was standing over by his car because like all the other reporters who wanted to talk to him because that was a crazy finish, and then like it looked like he had been released by his team. He gets out of the car, he's talking to his team. TV interviews him. Okay. And then he like steps out like he's coming to all of us reporters. And then he like walked through the reporters to talk to more of his team guys. And so then all of a sudden we're all like, oh, let's take another step back. But I like somehow got separated from the rest of the media herd. And so I don't know what you saw on TV, but for about 6 seconds, I was like awkwardly like trying to like avoid Bubba as he like stepped through me to talk to other people. It was very uncomfortable. So I'm really embarrassed that was on TV.
I've realized you and me have been on TV at Kansas races in the last 3 years, like every year. We're like, because nice. I was at the Chastain Gregson fight, and so like I was on TV on that one. Yeah, because
Nice.
my dad was like, my dad's probably watching right now. I'll laugh this. My dad's texting me as I'm recording on my phone, and I'm just like, don't call. Like, I'm recording this right now.
That's funny.
But like, so I've seen both of us on TV and at Kansas in the last 3 years more than once each year.
Sneaky. I love it. I'm like SpongeBob. There I am, Gary. There I am.
Jeff, we need to find a way to get you a random cameo. I think I've been right behind Christopher Bell in something before.
Yeah.
I've been to quite a few of those pit road pre-race things. I don't know. Maybe I was there somewhere at one point.
Just gotta hunt the camera down. Then you just make direct eye
stare.
contact.
I usually see the cameras and I avoid them. I know where they're at.
Final 2 super chats here. Alex Luff says, if Harvick is stone cold, who would Boyer be? HBK? Who's HBK?
That's a Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. I don't know about that one. Because Shawn Michaels had a lot more success.
Damn. Boyer catching strays out here on late night NWP. And then finally from Jacob, if we keep super chatting, they can't end the stream. In theory, that is true, but I think we've reached the end. So thank you for all the super chats, the support. We really do appreciate you all hanging out with us tonight. This is always a highlight of our weeks every single week. And once again, Jeff, thank you so much for being with us. We'll hopefully get to do this again sometime soon. And hopefully we get to see you at another race. I've not been to St. Louis or Gateway at least. So maybe next year our paths will cross. That would be awesome. But thank you for hanging out with us tonight, man.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for having me. And I just want to say, I know probably a lot of people don't know that behind the scenes, you guys have an awesome outline, all the information I needed for the show and all that. So it does help out a lot. So thank you very much. And I appreciate it. Anytime.
Do the best we can. It's mostly Jarrett though. He's like, or where's he at? Jarrett.
Mhm.
He's a producer,
executive
co-host,
producer.
editor. He's holding this down.
He's
But
the YouTube channel manager of the NWP account that y'all need to subscribe to right now. What are you doing? Go subscribe to it. I haven't gaslight y'all in a long time, so I'm doing it now. So you don't have to, but we'd like you to. So if you really wanted to, go ahead.
hopefully you'll want to tune in next week on the Iceberg. We'll see you then. Have a great rest of your week, folks. Take it easy. Thanks for tuning in.
Stay out of mush. Started off right now.
Right on, come on. You outside? Three wide.
Unbelievable.
Great playing, we're going. I like the aggression. We probably dropped a great car.
You can go tell all those guys up there they can suck it.
What we're about to do is not a good idea.
All good. What is he doing?
You gotta be kidding me.
Half the pack is flying apart.
It's so nice to
See at the line.
Oh, pack of cars come piling in as well.
Come. Coming light.
Hello. Come back on him.
That was incredible.